Is that why you got into fitness, by the way? Because the timeline matched up, and I'm like, I'm feeling very motivated.
A lot of music from that era of Karate Kid we definitely played during, I like just go like, yeah, wax on. No, but Cobra Kai was a bit ridiculous this season, man, and I loved it. Especially the part with Terry Silver. That guy is in pretty incredible shape for his age, man.
Yeah, I mean, when they first introduced him, they did the little like, oh, he's a good guy, he's not a bad guy. I was like, yeah, I like that. But
yeah,
they did fall into the whole villainous role. I was like, okay, this is cool. I like his character.
The villainous part was unlocked.
Dude, no, Kreese.
Kreese's
little prison thing. Like,
yeah,
with Sinatra.
Yeah, with Sinatra.
Oh god, that was so beautiful. Because I was like, there was a certain point in the season before that where I'm like, just like get this guy out of here already. But that ending is like, okay, maybe I want to see more of him.
Dude, they went insane with this last season, man. They just went bonkers, especially with Kreese, where he's like the kingpin in Daredevil when he went to prison and stuff. Like he really was like, like it's my Jello.
What I thought they were gonna do was like, how they're like, oh, you could do good for yourself in here and things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought because he was looking at the prisoners and stuff, he's like, I'm gonna make these guys learn karate.
Yeah,
so he was gonna be a karate teacher in prison, and I'm like, I could see that story. Like
that would have been cool.
Who else to tame prisoners than fucking Kreese?
Yeah,
like that would have been perfect.
I had the same thought. I had the same thought when he got like killed at the killed at the beginning of that episode. I was like, what the hell? What has this become, dude? But especially with how they bring a lot of these characters back. Like this is, I think, fan service done really well in like the guys writing this show are like, who do we want to see of the villains like pair up with, fight off against? And you see like when Johnny meets with Chosen. They bring back Mike Barnes. They all go after Terry Silver. It's like, what? This is insane. This is literally.
I got your Vengeance reference.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it was so good.
This is insane. This is like the Avengers. It's like playing with toys. You know what I mean? Like or like it's like seeing the Rocky villains meet up. You know what I mean? Like Drago versus Clubber Lang or something. Which they can never do with Rocky because it's too late for them. But now sadly, but now with Cobra Kai. They might as well go to space or something, They might as well have a portal and Jaden Smith pops out with Jackie Chan and everything.
Wow, dude, with the international tournament, who knows?
Well, that's a great point, man.
Dude.
Wow, I never even thought of that.
I honestly was expecting, not just because of your little
the cool Photoshop,
but like a little end credit scene. He was meeting like international champions, right? I thought Jaden Smith was gonna come out. I'm like, oh, that would have been sick.
Oh, that would be cool. I imagine, because I don't know if you know this, but Will Smith was actually a producer on Cobra Kai for a bit.
What?
I don't know if he still is at this point, but he was a producer on the series, and like I think that would be pretty cool to see Jackie Chan, like Daniel LaRusso meet Jackie Chan's Mr. Han character, from the Karate Kid, even though he does kung fu in the movie.
I mean, hey, they're different fighting styles.
That's true.
I like that they did that too. Like the first few seasons, it was very much different styles respected, and then they're combining the styles, right?
Yeah.
Dude, Robbie himself.
Oh
when he was first introduced, I was like,
I hated him for.
Dude, I was like, I like this guy. Not gonna lie, he was already like. I can see that they were gonna try to put him in that rebellious bad boy thing, but he was still thinking. Like throughout all his decisions, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not listening to you because I'm just blindly listening to you. I want to get something out of you." Like he was being smart about it. And then like, what is it? The third season, then they kind of put him into that bad boy role. Yeah. So I was like, "No, don't do this to him. He had good character, but then redeemed himself."
He's one of my favorite characters now in season 5.
Ever since season 1, bro, I was like rooting for him.
You're diehard.
Watching his development, I was like, yes.
He's like a knight, you know what I mean? Like he's rising up to that role of being completely noble and everything. And I thought it was cool. It was funny when they went to Mexico.
Dude, if my experience in Mexico is ever like that, I'm gonna need you in my corner, dude.
I was like, this shit's turning into Narcos for a second,
With the dad too.
Yeah, with the dad.
Like, where's this gonna go?
Scarface and stuff.
What is that, Charlie?
No, this is from Cafe de Leche over in Highland Park.
Oh.
Actually, what's cool about this, this coffee,
Mm-hmm.
this iced coffee that I got it for free from a guy who didn't want it, you know? And
What?
it was yeah, I went to this coffee place today
Yeah.
to read Dragon Ball
Nice.
volumes 1 through 3, I guess. The
Mhm.
original Dragon Ball series. And I was just sitting there minding my own business with a drink I already had,
Mhm.
and then the guy gave me this. I was like, "Oh, right on. Hey,
Free coffee
free coffee."
with my manga. Nice.
Yes, with my manga. For those who have been listening, you completely
Jeez, what?
I was recording the whole time, Andrew.
Oh, right. Well, this is good. I told you to do this.
I know, yeah. See, very sneaky, sis, on my end. Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 9 of Ignore This Podcast. I'm joined here by a very special guest, a new person, as it were, because each week so far has been different people, you know, and I've been having a blast having different people on the other end of the mic with me, talking about whatever we want to talk about. I like the idea of getting people on and learning something new about them, like how I learned about Jacob, our mutual friend Jacob, getting a skateboard from a homeless kid.
Oh yeah, that was sick, dude. That's like, I wish that were me. I mean, as a grown adult with 2 skateboards in my trunk, I see people skating, and I'm like, I kind of just want to. I know how expensive this is. I kinda just want to throw them a bone, you know.
Yeah.
But then scraping for a skateboard is also.
I know. Yeah, well, that's a journey in of itself, right? You know, getting the money together, getting the finances. You and I have gone skating recently. Here, why don't you come a little closer to the mic, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to hear it. We want to hear it.
Dude, funny enough, there's a skateboard at my job. It's been there since I started. It's
Uh-huh.
not like a complete skateboard, but it's just the board and the grip tape.
Yeah.
But it's been sitting there, and I want to ask one of our managers, like, is that anybody's? Because nobody's taking it.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to take it. It's just the wood and the grip tape. Like,
Well,
I get.
you work where? At the Goodwill, right?
Yeah.
But
so-
but like one of the big, I was about to say factories. It's not factories.
a warehouse.
Warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse.
So you get to see a lot of crazy cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Daily.
Uh-huh.
You know? So
Yeah.
the skateboard's one of those things?
I mean, the skateboard is honestly just on the side, but that's my interest.
yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I want that.
Yeah.
But nah, we see some cool stuff. We see like guitars donated by really famous people. We see paintings. I wrapped up something pretty interesting the other day. It was like some typewriter that. It was like an electronical typewriter.
An electronic
Sorry,
typewriter?
electric typewriter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it was like the way that it printed out paper. You know how it usually pops out from the top?
Yeah.
It was printing from the side, and it wasn't just regular paper. It was like some weird old parchment paper.
Really?
I'm like, this is weird. This is both vintage and new. I'm seeing like a weird amalgamation of this.
You know, that's funny. It's like that reminds me for some reason of like when they do Batman, like when, like for example, that show Gotham that came out. They're trying to merge like classic New York looks with like modern technology and everything. Like Gotham has zeppelins, but it also has like tablets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what this typewriter reminds me of.
What season is Gotham on by any chance?
Gotham's over.
Oh, Gotham's over?
Yeah, they ended that a couple years
They
ago.
did a spin-off, no?
I don't. No, they did a Pennyworth show. Is that what you mean? Like about Alfred?
I think so.
They did it, and they recently got some shit over it because they retitled it Pennyworth: The Origin of Batman's Butler is what they're calling it.
What?
I don't know.
We know who he is.
Yeah.
What other
Honestly,
Pennyworth is there?
what kind of? I've never heard of Pennyworth until it was Alfred Pennyworth. You know, I've never heard that
that's
word.
His name.
Yeah, who is that? They made a joke about Alfred in the Teen Titans Go film that they did, where it was like the Teen Titans wanted their own film, but they were overlooked by Alfred. Alfred got his own movie, and it was just called Alfred.
Yeah.
Literally the
That's
origin
the
of
thing,
Batman's.
that would be real, yeah.
Yeah.
Before giving Teen Titans Go a movie, I mean, I know they did. They would definitely give Alfred a movie.
Or a show.
Yeah.
Pennyworth the show.
From what I heard, it was actually good, though. I don't know.
The show,
about that. Yeah.
Pennyworth.
Before
not-
the name change, but
I never watched it. It was never really on my radar. You know, there's just so much Batman shit
Yeah.
out there. You know.
that's true.
Yeah, you watch a lot of stuff. I mean, you were just telling me you binged all of Cobra Kai.
The entirety of it.
The
in
entirety.
What? When did you tell me about this?
A couple days ago.
Sunday or Monday?
I think it might have been Monday.
What day is it today?
It's Friday.
There you go. I binged 5 seasons in 5 days.
That's I assume that's not the quickest binge of your life.
No, I don't think so. I've binged a lot of like anime and shows. This was like when I was in college. I had the time, I wasn't worried about money and all this stuff. Yeah, I was watching shows nonstop. I mean, I missed it. Like, I mean, when you get lost in just working and going to school all the time, a part of the reason why I like watching movies and shows is because of the messages you get, the people that you see, the interactions that come with it, and like. I feel like when I was working all the time and then just trying to worry about other stuff, I got lost in it,
Yeah.
So watching the show, how like it's realistic, but it's it's got the messages, it's got the optimism in it, and I miss that.
The lessons and everything.
Yeah, I miss that because part of watching all those shows, it gives me that like there's more to life than just trying to get more, make a living,
Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah, a great show, and I've been talking about it a lot recently. That has those types of lessons that, especially watching it recently for me, I've been trying to apply more often is the Avatar Last Airbender show.
That's right. I heard you were binging it.
Oh my God. And I finished it up, and I'm reading currently one of the, here it is. One of the graphic novels that's a sequel to the series. I mean, this isn't We Tolerate Comics, but I just want to bring it up because I really like it so far.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
I think we get a few of these at work, actually.
Oh, right on, dude. It's by Dark Horse and everything.
Yeah.
Really cool. I want to read that and maybe some of the other ones, and then I'll move on to Legend of Korra. But this show worked so well because of a lot of lessons, the spiritualism that it would get into, And even something as silly and as ridiculous as Cobra Kai has those lessons throughout.
Dude. There was nothing that I liked seeing more than Daniel's arrogance. Like, straight up, like, this guy, he's been the good guy, right? For the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
And even though we knew some of his flaws, that, like, he was really aggressive, he was quick to anger, right?
Yeah, he was hot.
But essentially, he was still the good guy. Yeah. And then in this show, you're getting all these perspectives because, honestly, that's what life is, man. Like, so many of my problems can be summed up to miscommunication. People just not talking shit out or just assuming things. And, like, so in some cases, when people are assuming that they're doing the right thing, they're not taking into account another person's perspective of like why they might be doing something bad. You know? And that's why I love this show, dude. The whole it was sick.
That's definitely an element in the first season because in that first season, Daniel and Johnny weren't friends like at all, and they're still holding those grudges.
I'm pretty sure it lasted for like 4 seasons. It goes on and off.
One of my favorite moments is when Johnny tells Miguel about the Karate Kid from his perspective.
This guy just doused me out of nowhere with water.
He just got out of nowhere. He just started creeping into my girl. Well, weren't you broken up at that point? Yeah, man, but it was really fresh still.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I got to see both arguments because, they do have some merit to them, Like, they're good reasons.
Yeah, and I think definitely with a lot of the recent events regarding, people I know, people you might know, just drama in general. That's a good thing to try to keep in mind, the perspective of it. Like what's causing this drama on their end versus my end. I mean, and how can we heal from it?
Right away, honestly, I think it started to help me kind of sympathize with more people. I mean, I've always been a sympathetic person, but like, again, I kind of got lost in my own stuff, and I forgot to sympathize more with people.
Right.
And so, like, watching this show, I mean, it's not like it's changed my life, right? But it just added some clarity that I needed, I feel like my head's kind of been clouded these last few months. I mean, I know you know that shit's been rough for me, so, like...
Of course.
Yeah, it's easy to kind of just succumb to the depression and the negativity of
the
life,
bullshit,
right? But then little shows like this, little conversations like this, it's not all bad, man.
They can definitely help with just clearing everything up. And also just doing things like we've gone skating, like I brought up. You're kind of teaching me a little bit how to skate.
Go skate after. If you want.
Yeah, that would be cool. For like 5 seconds.
Just hear that little
the Wilhelm screaming here. Done that. We went. One of the coolest things that I think we did recently was seeing the Lord of the Rings films in the theaters at this really great theater that you introduced me to, which like, damn, I wish I'd known about it sooner. The Sinopolis over in Pico Rivera.
Yes.
You know,
I'll call it Cinepolis.
is that how do you say it?
No, it's called Sinopolis, but I don't know why. For some reason, the advertisement, there's this guy there that pronounces it very weirdly. Cinepolis.
Cinepolis?
Who? Nobody I know calls it Cinepolis. It's Sinopolis.
The cool thing about this theater is that they have lazy boys, essentially, that you can sit in and recline in, knock it out if you want to do that. They have beer. They have food service.
Your White Claws.
My White Claws. My dude, when Johnny said, "Give me one of those White Claws,"
dude,
it sounds
I thought
badass.
of you immediately, I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna spit it," and Julius is gonna be like, "What?
What? But then he liked it.
But he still drank it." And I'm like, "Yep, that's everybody's experience with White Claw. Spit it out immediately." But then you're like, "Wait, let me give it one more chance." There's this drink. I don't know if I told you, but I went out with my buddies. We went out to this view, right? And they're like,
I want you to come a little closer to the mic. If
They're
there's
like-
one rule I got, Andrew,
it's
it's speak into the mic,
Wait, can I?
or else you get the spanking. Here you go. There,
Is this good?
yeah, there you go.
Oh, nice. Okay.
There you
These
go.
are sick mics, bro.
Thank you, thank you. Look at that, blue Yetis, my
I thought
friend.
you only had one.
No, we got two.
What? There you go.
Oh, you know what I
which
think the
one's
problem is? Here, hold on. Let me change the setting. There we go. Here, try it out.
Is that better? Hello, check. Check.
You should be good. Just project a little bit.
Okay.
You were on the conference call setting. Oh, Jesus, that's gonna be
What
fun.
are we
To,
talking to, man?
that's gonna be fun to mix. Okay.
What were we talking about? Oh, that's right.
Here, I'm
So-
just gonna clap once again to mix it.
Gucci?
Yep.
All right. So, when I had taken my friend out to this view, he was kind of going through it, so we're like, oh, well, let's get some drinks, right? Don't advise this.
Okay.
But, so he got this drink that was sitting there. He was recommended to him by his ex, I think. But have you ever heard of these cardboard boxes of alcohol called beat boxes?
Beat boxes.
Beat boxes. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is this? I've only seen one boxed drink before, and it's that boxed water. That I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's what I was
that
thinking
looks
of.
a little odd. Why? Just because it's in box? Just because it's in cardboard, you know, it makes it look cool. Okay, so I'm like, all right, whatever. This guy's going through it. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that it's gonna be a good drink. And oh my god, it's like drinking Kool-Aid without tasting the alcohol, dude.
Really?
It's so good.
That sounds
And
good.
it actually gets you really like litty. If I'm gonna say like
Drunk.
yeah, I forgot how many percent it is, but it's good.
One of
I
these.
recommend it. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Of course. The White Claws are definitely, I like the hard seltzer.
Uh-huh.
When Johnny from Cobra Kai ordered the White Claw and thought it was badass, I thought of you guys, specifically Leslie,
Mhm.
for making fun of me for enjoying the
What?
White Claw.
Does she like White Claw?
No,
I
she
don't think
don't
does.
like
nah,
him.
nah,
dude.
nah.
No.
Hey, man, I try to give
It
White
killed
Claw
me.
a chance, but it's just the seltzer in me. I mean, I just don't like bubbly stuff to begin with.
I'm a bubbly sort of guy, and the White Claws are very good, especially when we went to the Sinopolis.
See, but at least you don't just drink White Claw. You're like, it's White Claw and White Claw only. No, you drink your IPAs, you
Yeah.
drink your wines, you drink everything, man.
I'll
that's
drink it
that's
all.
good. You're open.
The buzz balls, especially during the
Oh,
holiday
man.
season, are very fun.
I feel
as
like
long as I'm not driving.
I honestly feel like the buzz balls to this generation are what our generation had the Four Locos, and not the new Four Locos, the old ones
Yeah.
that they made back in that were like fucking poison in a cup, man. I believe I knew people back in middle school that would drink that literally before class.
During middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know how they were getting it. I mean, it looked like Arizona, so maybe.
They really, I
Maybe
mean,
that's why.
maybe took it from their parents' stash, you know?
What parent is drinking Four Locos?
I don't know, man. I just know that, like, ever since going to Sebastian's home,
Mhm.
his home is stockpiled with kombucha because his dad works
Yeah,
at
I was
that
about. Well, he's a
bar.
bartender.
He's a
yeah,
bartender,
yeah.
but it's unreasonable how much they have. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Like,
They're ready.
They're ready for the apocalypse. They're gonna drink through it. The rapture.
You got to.
Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I'm not gonna put it past any parent to have so much fucking alcohol at their home. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you're a parent, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have your own shelf. Just lock that thing up tight so they can't get it.
Well, right now I'm looking for a shelf for my books, my comic books, because as you can see, I have so many. I mean, I had to move them on the bed. Usually they're in that chair that you're sitting in. You know what I mean? I have to. I'm thinking because there's a closet behind you, a slide closet behind you, Andrew, and I'm thinking. Oh, thank you. I'm thinking of putting it in there so I can just open the slide door and then just pick up a comic in the bookshelf, put it back, all clean.
Yeah,
you know?
I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sick. I just noticed your Logan poster.
Oh yeah, got Logan poster right below the MF Doom mask and everything. Yeah, it's fun in here sometimes.
Your room looks like a prop, man. Like
prop?
If somebody was filming an indie film about some up and coming teenager, like I would picture this room right here.
I've done it.
You've done that?
I've done it. I've filmed a couple of things in here.
Really?
Yeah, I filmed this one little short film for a class that I was doing, film class. It was called The Sighting of Elephant Hill. Because Elephant Hill is just right there.
Yeah.
It's a hill in
You
my
still
town.
yet to take me.
I know. Wait, last time I was there, and I'll tell you the story in a second, but last time I was there was a bit shady. I was there with Jacob. So what happened was I filmed this short film with Angel, and we filmed it about this guy who saw an alien, a UFO thing, a sighting of and he gets obsessed and he starts hunting down the information, and then it ends up at the hill. And we had this cool, that Justin was in it as an alien.
Sick,
it was a really confusing film, but a lot of fun to do. His girlfriend, Angel's girlfriend, was in it. Luciana was a big help and everything. Nice. Yeah, a lot of fun. But yeah, Elephant Hill, I don't know. I haven't been up there in years.
Since that film, or just
since this incident that happened when I went up there with Jacob, because what happened was,
do tell.
Well, what happened was Jacob and I like to go on hikes. Okay. It's been a while since we've been on a hike, but there are a lot of hilly areas near us, as you know.
Yeah.
And we go on hikes sometimes, go on walks a lot, and we would go up to this place called Elephant Hill, which is near where I live. And we'd climb up it. And it's a really nice hike and really just long pathway. It's called Elephant Hill because the lanes are like trunks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get a really beautiful view of everything at the top. Beautiful view that goes from, Los Angeles to Glendale to way out to like on the way to Riverside and everything,
Damn, no way.
Yeah,
that
and
nice,
on a really clear day, you see Long Beach. The big where the ships are, the bridge
right?
and everything.
Yeah.
The thing, those pyres up there. You
can see that.
You can see on a very clear day.
Right.
On a very clear day, if you squint your eyes and shit, you can see it. So
sick, dude.
Jacob and I go up there, and we're chilling, and we see ominously in the dirt, we see a machete stabbed in the ground, and there's a note that says something along the lines of "Go no further."
What? On the machete?
Yeah. And we're just Jacob, as you can imagine. Jacob is like, "What is that, fool? What is that, fool?" He's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't know, man." But I take it out. I pull it out. I just chuck it away into the fields, and I destroy the letter because I'm like, you know what? This is kind of creepy. I don't want to know anything. Let's forget this even happened. We go to the very top of the hill, where a lot of people to this very day, they drive their trucks up there for the nice view at night. Play music, a lot of ranchera music and shit, like foo ass music. Smoke weed up there and everything. Yeah. And we go up there. It's completely empty, but there's trash everywhere, and there's a trash can up there just normally because a lot of people go up there.
Yeah.
But this one time that we went, there was another note that said, "Pick up your fucking trash or don't fucking come back." And we're like, oh, this is a bit ominous. 2 notes.
It was him. It was that environmentalist there that was like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing all this trash here. Let me set up this machete so people stay the fuck away.
Yeah. The one time the environmentalist became a slasher villain. That's it. Yeah, that's enough. That could be a good slasher film, right?
The new slasher for this era.
The environmentalist. What happened was after that, we see in the distance below lanes this pickup truck slowly driving up
What
to our
the
direction.
fuck, dude?
And we're just, we don't know that they're, you know, coming up here for any sort of like, we don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But we just feel like, okay, it's time to go. Let's go. So we start walking away. We're keeping an eye out. It's one of those hills where it's so steep you can see below, you know? It's like layers upon layers upon layers of hill, you know?
Yeah.
And you see the truck in the distance, and it's coming up slowly. Little dirt fucking flying behind it and everything.
Going up the hill?
Going up towards where we were. And we leave,
Uh-huh.
and then we see in the distance, as we're going down, we see up at the top, that truck gets there.
Mhm.
It does a little circle, you know, just a little circle on top of the hill,
Uh-huh.
weirdly enough, and then it starts coming back down. And we're just looking at it, and I think our imagination might have gotten away from us, so we just start running. I'm like, Jacob, run! Run!
At that point, your legs took over.
Yeah, honestly, we were running down the hill. Don't run down a hill because it's dangerous.
I've made that mistake
Oh
several times.
no, man! We're lucky that neither of us fell because it's steep.
Yeah.
It's steep, man. And the thing is, we chose the steeper
Oh, God.
option.
Well, you guys
of
were
a way-
avoiding the truck. Huh?
Yeah, because they're not gonna rush down, you know, with their truck. But it looks like they're following us. We're just like,
Shit.
oh, we're getting out of here.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
when
yeah.
we finally got to Collis, which is more civilized. I mean, their home's there at least.
So, like the suburban streets.
Yes,
right? Yeah. Okay.
yes, we get down there. We're just like, okay, we're not going up there for a while again. And it's been years.
Since you've been
It's
there?
been years. It's been, maybe this happened in 2018. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
If I go up there again, I don't know when or how or why.
I would love to accompany you.
Yeah.
But if we were to go up there again and see a machete on the floor, I wouldn't be surprised if you were bestowed powers as soon as you yanked that
pulled it
thing
out.
out, dude. Like, yeah, I was half expecting you to say that the first time. I'm like, you had the gall to pull out that machete, lightning strike down upon you. Come on.
Well, I should have kept it.
The machete.
Yeah, because like if they come up, like I have a weapon at least,
true,
right? You
that's
know.
true.
Yeah, but I was just too panicked at that point. I was just like, oh, it's a curse.
You see, man, like, I love nature and I love going up specifically really high spots.
Oh, yeah.
To just get a view of everything. But something spooky always gotta happen, dude. It's nature, the unknown, you know? Not something similar like that, but like in Cabo State, you know, where I took you last time. Dude, that moment when I had gone after hours, like I know a couple people go up there at night and stuff, and I was up there alone just trying to think over some things. So I knew like risk is high, but I'm gonna stay where the entrance was, you know, where that gate was, where we sat down on that log.
Yes,
Yeah,
really nice spot.
Right, I was just chilling there. It was maybe about 11:30 at night, and I'm like, if somebody does come up here, I can see them. The entrance is right there, right? So I'm just like looking into nature. It's dark, so I don't really see like depth. Like I don't see how far things are or how high things are. You know, everything just looks like black and shadow. And dude, just remember seeing this big blob come out of some like, I guess like I'm just looking straight, right? And little by little, there's this blob coming towards me, and it's getting bigger and bigger and rounder. And I'm like, is that a bear? Like, nah, that's not a bear. This is. I'm like thinking, where are we? Altadena?
Yeah.
I'm like, are there bears there? Nah. But there are other animals there, and it was getting closer. And then, very faintly, I see like two little glowing things.
Oh yeah.
So almost like the reflection of eyes.
Yes.
You know? So I'm like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah. Did you find out what it was?
No, I booked it, man. I didn't want to find out what that was. If it was a bear, I probably wouldn't be here. So.
Well, the first time we went, we encountered a little rattlesnake.
Oh, that's right, the snake, bro. It was close.
It was really close, hidden in bushes. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see it
looked
other
like a
than
twig.
Yeah, it looked like a twig. What gave it away was the little rattle it does, which probably saved your life because you were in front of me going through. I was like, oh shit, and literally you heard the little hiss. It's like a film.
As soon as I heard that, I just scanned and I saw it.
Oh
And I was like,
shit!
pause.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was wild, man.
I was, funny enough, that in little interaction, it was making me question Miles. I'm like, hey, Miles, in the event that I get bitten by a snake, is it true that you can, like, psych out the poison and stuff? Just for the viewers, Miles is a nurse, so I like to test his knowledge.
He was on this program.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I forgot what episode, but he was on here, so you probably know him. Probably know him by the voice of,
Yeah. I think we had been drinking and talking to a lot of people, though, so I don't know if he gave me a direct answer. But yeah.
What did so you asked him about rattlesnake?
Yeah, I was like, so if we get bit, like, are we supposed to, like, suck the poison out? Like, I don't want myself to die, or if it bit you, I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
If it were to come down to it, I would suck on your ankle to save your life, man. But I think what he had told me was like, well, it depends on what kind of snake there was. A lot of them aren't as poisonous as you would think.
Yeah.
It would probably just hurt like a bitch. So I was like, oh, okay. Let's just avoid them altogether.
Just avoid all the snakes. All the snakes already, man.
To be fair, though, that was the first time I saw a snake up there. I saw deer. I saw rabbits. Things that won't harm us.
Yeah.
That snake was the first one.
Yeah, and it was in that defensive position. So, that makes you frightened because it's frightened.
It coiled, man.
Yeah.
It was about to strike.
It
Cobra
coiled.
Kai. I know what a striking snake looks
No
like.
mercy. No mercy. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't do that crane kick. Shit.
I should have done it up.
Who have you been? Speaking of Cobra Kai, and also we're near the Halloween season.
Yeah.
I think that Miles, speaking of Miles, also should be the Karate Kid for Halloween.
Dude, like Daniel
LaRusso.
Dude.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah. With the white headband and the gi and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pull it off.
And I mean, whenever I see Daniel in the show, just dressed normally in his home or something,
The button up.
yeah, like I think that's Miles in his
in a couple
60s.
years. Yeah.
That's Miles. Just the way he's because Ralph Macchio has aged really gracefully. Like I cannot believe he's in his 60s at this point.
Really?
Yeah, he's in. I'm gonna fact check this. I know he's in his 60s.
Lawrence.
Yeah, they're older.
Ellie, wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
I
up
thought
his
they were
exact
in their
age.
40s, dude.
He was in his early 20s when he did the original Karate Kid.
Because I mean, I know they had to be older. Because looking at the Karate Kid, they don't look like babies. They look older, but not like too old. Looking at them at the show, I would have never guessed 60. My god.
He's 60 years old.
Wow.
And actually, William Zabka, the guy who plays what's his name, Johnny, is 56 years old.
Dang, they look really good for their age.
Yeah.
I mean, all that karate and stuff. I mean, look at Kreese. That guy's like, what, 90? And he's still like I would not mess with him, man.
A shit brick house, man. Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, some people are honestly just built like that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, hey, props to you and your genes, man. I could never, but
yeah,
some people got it easy.
Who are you going to be for Halloween?
This Halloween,
Have you thought about it? Because were you?
I haven't really thought about it too
last
much.
year, you were Trunks, right? From Dragon Ball?
Yes, a very, very out of the cereal box, homemade Trunks, but
Mexican Trunks.
Fuck, what's the Mexican word for trunks? There's a word, but I forgot it.
you were Whittier Trunks.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't even have the purple. It was like a faded blue or something. But I really wish I could have pulled that off like a lot more if I had the money and shit. But I mean, it was last minute too, and I was like, I don't know. But for this year, I don't know. Not too much inspiration, I guess. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, but I either don't have the funds, don't have the time, or just like completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
it's usually a couple days after Halloween where I'm like, oh, that would have been perfect.
Yeah. The thing is, thinking about you dressing up as you did last year was a bit surprising because you're so laid back and everything. You seem like the kind of guy that even though you love horror and everything, you seem like the kind of guy who would let Halloween just kind of pass you, but you just chill with Halloween, like you're very tolerant of Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be like, that was my shit, because I mean, I was born around that time. My mom also has her birthday around October, and I just have a lot of memories with October. We just have these big Halloween parties with my family and my friends and all this stuff. So like Halloween was a pretty big deal to me. Just over the years, I mean, with this big relationship that I had, I kind of took a step away from that and just became, I guess, a little bit more casual about things because there was this costume. I forgot which one it was, but I remember I was stressed about it for like an entire month because I'm like, I want this to come out good. I want this to come out good. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to stress about it this much, If it looks good, it looks good. Yeah. Stuff like that.
It looked cool last year.
I enjoy Halloween. The Trunks thing?
Yeah, I like the jacket. I like the style. I have a picture of it right over here.
Leslie's jacket, dude. That was Leslie's
was it?
jacket. Yeah. I mean, I also
Did you
like
give it
that
back?
too. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, dude, are you kidding me? I love those. What are they? Members only?
Yeah.
Members only jackets.
Yeah.
I'm starting to collect them because ever since Leslie told me that she finds them in the most random spots, but like in different colors, because they're
Yeah.
rare and they had them in all colors. But now since they're all spread out, it's harder to get each color.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have brown and black right now.
Oof.
No. Yeah, brown and black right now. And she has the gray and the blue one, but I really like that blue one. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's
I could
such a
see
good
you
look.
in like a dark green one, like a
Uh-huh.
little mesh of green and blue, I could see that. That would look cool.
If I ever see a members only jacket out of nowhere, I do my best to I'm copping it. I'm getting that, yeah.
Well, you remember when we went to that, this is almost a year ago at this point, went to that antique store over in
Yeah,
Pasadena.
yeah, I was actually just talking to Leslie about
Oh,
this.
were you?
We went to Cal State yesterday to get some documents. Little did I know, everything's online now because
Uh-huh.
of the pandemic.
Yep.
I'm like, kind of wasted my trip
Yep.
over there. But
Yep.
it was nice to talk to Leslie. She had this cool little backpack that she ordered on Amazon, and she had seen the brown one that I bought in that antique
Yeah.
shop. Yeah, and we were just talking about that. I've been wanting to go back. That cool stuff.
It is a cool place that they got those Hawaiian shirts.
I
you
really
know?
want to go back for those, man.
Yeah.
That what was it? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
That really got me. Like, okay, the Hawaiian shirt's not that bad. Actually,
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
I was talking to Brian and Sebastian a couple days ago because I recorded the chapter 10 that is going to come out next week with them.
Okay.
Both on it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about Halloween and who it could be and everything. And I had a couple ideas of who I could be.
What is your Halloween ideas, man?
Well, I was thinking the first one was a joke from Brian that
Okay.
I think could work, if I get like a fake beard. Even though I have some facial hair, I would need extra beard.
I need that fake one in the pool.
Yeah, I would need the assistance. It would be Morbius.
Dude, yes. I told you when I saw that movie, I'm like, you can pull it off. That's the thing. Like, I know the movie's being memed on right now, but it.
That's why. That's why to
What's
do
the actor
it.
again?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
He's still a handsome man.
He
and
is.
you look almost like him with the hair and
Come
like
on
everything,
now.
the stature. You guys are pretty like similar. I'm
Oh
like,
my
dude,
God.
you can pull off the Morbius. You'll get memed on probably, but embrace it, man.
It'll either be Morbius or Weird Al.
I see.
Yeah. Because I love getting those shirts, those Hawaiian tropical shirts.
That's just you and your casual
That's
outfit.
just me. And I'd have to get an accordion. I have an accordion around here somewhere, but probably get a.
Hey, why not
another one.
both, man?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Lynn was talking about this thing she wanted to do for Halloween about her
Scaring
house.
children?
Scaring children, which sounds great, but in her neighborhood, that seems like you could easily be killed doing that type of shit.
I mean, I've done it in worse, but I think a lot of kids are going to be out in Halloween, so
Yeah.
maybe the fools will be away,
No, they'll be right next to their kids. Like, some of them will have kids on the leash and shit. Like at Disneyland, they got the
Yeah.
kids and everything. But the difference between the mom at Disneyland and the fool in El Monte is that the guy has a gun and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here I am dressed like Weird Al. Hey, everyone!
It'll scare them. They'll be like, oh, who's this white?
Who's this white man? If I do Weird Al, I'll have to get my hair curled and everything.
Yeah, that
You know?
would be interesting.
I mean,
to see you with curly hair, man.
But Sebastian could
Seeing Brian
easily...
with dreads.
He could easily pull off Weird Al with his hair.
Yeah,
Sebastian.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but he's gonna be Borat, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, for sure?
Yeah, that's what he said. He's doing the impressions. That son of a bitch. God damn it.
Wait, so what are the other costumes here?
Well,
What
those
other
are
costumes
those
do
are
you
the
guys-
two main ones.
Okay.
I mean, I have my MF Doom mask right there,
true.
and a Charlie Brown shirt, which could be cool.
But you guys didn't, like, talk about costumes for them or anything? Or-
Oh yeah, well Sebastian brought up Borat.
Right.
Brian said, I don't remember what Brian said. I'd have to listen to it again, but we did say he should be a ghost. Just get that big sheet, that white cloak over him, a little point at the top, you know, and then he could just be himself. He could just do him.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm a ghost.
Hey everyone. Boo. Actually, you know what I think I'll do is I think at Brian's show on the 15th, which you know about.
I do, sadly.
The
I
show.
will not be able to make it, but...
Oh, you're not going to be there?
October 15th, right?
Oh, you're going to the Horror Nights.
Yeah, my
That's
cousins
right.
are taking me for the birthday.
That's right.
My birthday's right before it, so...
See...
I would love to go
You
see
should go to
guys,
the
though.
rehearsal then.
When's that going to be?
It's the day before. It's on your birthday.
Oh, well, I still don't even know what I'm doing for my birthday.
Okay,
so.
well then, you know what? Forget it then.
No.
Forget
I'll
it.
see if you know what, give me Brian's address. I'll show up bright and early.
I don't know the whole logistics of it, but I think I might wear the MF Doom and Charlie Brown shirt at the show.
Yeah,
that could be cool.
The MF Doom one especially. Dude, I really like this one.
Yeah, it's metal. Yeah, try it on, Andrew. Look at that. The little ruby at the top, at the brow.
Special power.
Yeah. Here, come to the mic. Come to the mic and tell. You're wearing the MF Doom mask.
Yes.
How does it feel?
Empowering. Not gonna lie. Wait, didn't somebody else wear this on the show?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I
You should
did.
just have all your guests wear this.
Try to live through it, through the discussion. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Sebastian's gonna come over later today. I'm
Oh.
gonna give him a guitar lesson, and then
That's
after.
what that was. Huh?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I know that you had said that you were gonna be busy until like later.
Yeah, until
Um,
around 8.
And then when you told me to come over at 3, I was like, oh wait, so are you still gonna be busy?
Oh no, I will be busy from around 7 to 8 because
You
I'm
are
gonna
a
be
busy man,
doing
dude.
guitar. I am. I'm too busy. I'm too fucking
You gotta
busy.
take it easy on yourself.
I
It's
know,
more projects,
man.
but hey,
I
they're
know.
all coming out really good. By the way, I saw that little movie thing you did with Sebastian, Brian, and your other friend.
Who
It wasn't like a movie. It was, I forgot what you call those types of things where you're filming them, right, and they have the audio going but they're not moving.
Oh, well, I guess it's a film. The one about my friend Mackenzie, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Where
with
there's
Sebastian's
Brian
dialogue.
and Sebastian.
They were so perfect at their roles, dude. Like, oh
That's
my
just
God.
them.
I know. Yeah,
That's
that was.
just- it's a little short film called Dear Mick Mick about my friend. It was a birthday present actually
That's right.
from my
Yeah,
friend
yeah,
Mackenzie because she's I think she lives in Georgia now. She's all over the place. She goes to Georgia near Yale and all this good stuff.
Wow.
And she's an actress who I've worked with on some projects that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but
Under wraps.
under wraps, still in production. But yeah, she's a really good friend, and Brian and Sebastian are friends with her and everything. So
Cool.
for her, when she was leaving for her birthday,
Yeah.
we made this short film for her,
Aw.
saying goodbye essentially, and it
Yeah.
stars Sebastian and Brian, and they argue, and they're really good at arguing.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was honestly really nice, man. Like, I don't know if I've ever had such a heartfelt birthday gift. I mean, yeah, they're all personal, right?
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice. That was really out of the box too. Like,
Yeah.
I would not expect anything else from other than you. You know, like,
Yeah.
that's such a you birthday gift that, dude, I cherish that. Like,
Well,
it's really nice.
Thank you. Did you what did you have you ever done any acting, or have you ever been in a little short film or
Oh my
anything like that?
I
School
was
play?
gonna say no, but you know Crystal. You know my cousin.
Oh, yeah.
Crystal. Crystal, please get rid of the footage whenever
Oh, no.
you can.
Oh no.
We took this computer class in high school, and we were assigned a project, which was basically a music video,
Yeah.
and she was directing it. And I mean, yeah, I very much try to like not care what people say, so I'm like, okay, I'm helping out with my cousin with the music video and stuff. But
Wait, before you continue, what kind of music was it? Was it hip hop, rap, country, pop?
it was Linkin Park.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know. So like, I like Linkin Park, especially like back in the day. That was my shit. But you know, now as an adult, when I see myself crying on the screen to Linkin Park,
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
oh jeez, okay. Maybe there's a little bit that I want to take back, but hey, I acted my ass off in that little clip. My friend had slapped me.
Oh my
for
God.
some
So you could
some
cry?
realism. No. I thought it was to cry. I was about to say that, but I'm like, wait, no. There was a scene where like I had gotten slapped, I think. So I told my friend like, yeah, you can slap me, whatever, it's
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
In my little head, I'm like,
A method, it's
acting.
okay.
Yes. I'm like, I've learned. I may not be an actor, but I know the way. So go ahead, slap me. She fucking slapped me. I was like, oh, thank you. Crystal I believe she still has this footage. I think she showed Miles, but That's one of my credits.
On IMDb.
Yeah, listed.
Slapped
Julius'
guy.
podcast. Extra in Crystal's music.
Slapped person. You know that it's funny you said Linkin Park because you know there's a reemergence of Linkin Park because of a meme that's been going on where it's like, for example, Thor: Love and Thunder, but made in 2007, and it's the ending of the movie. It's like like the Transformers ending. I forget the lyrics, but
Transformers was something, man. When those were you a fan when the movies came out and stuff?
I think if I was a fan of any of them, it was probably the first one.
The first one was good.
The first one was fun for me. The second one is just, oh my god, like that's just racist. I mean, shit's racist. I mean,
dude, and yeah, actually, looking back at it, it was pretty like, yo, what you guys getting away with this?
Mudflap and
skits. That was just edgy, right? At the time, I was like, oh, this is Michael Bay, huh? He's edgy. But then the movies honestly started becoming too Michael Bay.
Oh yeah.
The lens flare, the
women and everything. I mean, even
the women's so tan, man.
From the beginning, they were like that with Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah,
over the that shot of her over the car and everything. You know, Bumblebee's getting a fucking lap dance, essentially. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what is this? I thought this was a goddamn Transformers movie.
At least they stuck to, like, Linkin Park, though. Like, with every movie, they're like, nah, this is our soundtrack. This is our guy.
If there's one moment that I like from the second film, it's that forest fight with Optimus Prime and Megatron and the death of Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
you know,
that actually went pretty good.
That was pretty hard.
Choreography to that?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Sick.
Pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, they just at its purest form. That's where it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they got. What's her name? Megan Fox bouncing around and everything in slow motion, and they replaced her.
Oh my god, that's right! I forgot the slow motion. There's much slow motion in there.
You know, I don't know whose is more egregious in terms of slow motion, Michael Bay or Zack Snyder. You know, I don't know, man, because I feel like they're trying to do two different types of slow motion.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, the whole idea, right, is the image speaks for itself, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like Michael Bay is more like, in terms of his use of slow motion, it's more like it's like a car commercial in terms of look at how fucking hot this is. Whereas Zack Snyder's is usually look at how deep this is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I was about to say. Yeah.
So I don't know which annoys me more. I don't know, man.
I mean, I think there's just a checklist on how to make a true Michael Bay film. Again, lens flares, slow motion, Linkin Park,
yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, explosions. Did you say that?
What?
Explosions?
No, that's just like it's Michael Bay. There's gonna be explosions. That's not even a question.
It could be
as soon as he enters the room, you hear that little boom sound effect.
It could be a biopic about Anne Frank. I mean, and actually, there probably would be explosions there, but you know, it's kind of crazy, man.
Hey, man. What is it? Pooh, Blood and Honey, directed
Oh
by Michael
my
Bay.
god, that horror film coming out about Winnie the Pooh.
So there's a trailer for it, right?
Yes, there's a trailer. Oh my god, Andrew, it is so trashy. It is so cheap. It looks ridiculous, you know? Because the idea of this, so for those who don't know, Winnie the Pooh, as we all know, Winnie the Pooh, he recently became
children's classic.
He recently became part of the public domain, where anyone can make a film or book or anything regarding Winnie the Pooh. And not counting the Disney version, because that's its own specific version of Winnie the Pooh. And someone had the idea, which is cool. The idea is cool of making a horror film with Winnie the Pooh.
It could definitely be done right.
Yes. The 100 Acre Woods, you know?
I mean, dude, in middle school, not to be cringe, but like I did see some like what is it? Not I don't want to say fan fiction because then that gets like sexual. Just fans writing twisted stories, right?
Or,
Or like
like creepypastas.
There you go. That's the creepypastas, right? So I'm down with like twisting childhood stories to make them horror. There's actually this cool. I think you might have talked about it actually. The one
What?
with old classic fairy tales, but done in a horror twist.
Oh yeah, I think the book I have is Tales of Mother Goose, Mother F Goose, I think, where it's like a thriller crime drama taking old fairy
okay,
tales.
okay.
Is that?
Well, there's some stories that I read online that were just like more focused on the horror aspect of it, or like, oh, you look at this childhood character and he looks so like, oh yeah, he's for kids, but like the origin of it is like dark or something.
Yeah.
Like it came from like I'm down with that. But when I saw the poster for Blood and Honey, I'm like, it doesn't look like it's gonna be
No.
one of those.
No, it looks like the quality of like the recent Nicolas Cage horror films, like that one where it's like a Five Nights and Freddy Five Nights. What's that game called?
I really enjoyed that movie. it was dumb, but Nicolas Cage kicking ass. By the way, I don't know, have you seen it? By the way,
I've seen clips of that movie. I haven't seen it.
He doesn't say a single word.
I've heard that he doesn't say anything.
He just carries it all just on his acting. And, I mean, like, I think there's like a different list for movies that, you kind of watch, and then movies that you put on, knowing that they're not going to be like you're not going to take it too seriously, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that was one of those movies that I'm not taking it too seriously, but it was good for what it was.
A good version of that, of that kind of tone that I think this should have captured was that movie that came out a couple years ago called Krampus. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
I really dug that film because it took something as that was kind of fairy tale like and brought a heavy intimidation to it, and it was a horror film during Christmas and it was cool. I wish this Winnie the Pooh film coming out was being approached in that manner,
right.
But it looks like a B horror film, like
Have you seen
Man Thing or
Thanksgiving?
something.
It
No.
looks like that. You've not seen Thanksgiving?
No.
Oh my god.
Thanksgiving.
I'll do yourself the favor.
Who are they
don't watch
killing?
it.
The Native Americans? Is that who they're
No,
killing?
they're killing just random people, but it's a turkey doing the killing, and the turkey is spewing out random bullshit the entire time, dude. Like imagine killing somebody, right? You're getting killed by a turkey, and the last thing you hear is, "How do you like that stuffing?" Like, come on, dude. Like
The little jokes.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that other horror film called Rubber, which is about the killer tire.
oh, dude,
bouncing
I would
around.
see that all the time on Netflix, but I'm like, I'm never gonna click on this movie. You saw it?
No, but it was a big talking
Actually-
point for a
wait,
while.
Do you know what it's about though?
It's about it. Isn't it about a killer tire?
But do you know how he kills?
No, I don't. Does he
'Cause
like
I
bump
read
around?
the synopsis.
Oh, okay.
I would imagine, right? Oh, he's just running over people. It's a psychic tire that blows people's heads up.
What?
That, or at least that's what I remember from the synopsis. But that's why I didn't click on the movie, because I'm like,
Damn it.
some of these filmmakers are very creative, but I don't know if that's a good thing.
That's
at
to
this
save
time.
money. That's literally to save money.
What if we had a killer, but it was a tire?
It was a tire, but it didn't run over people. That sounds great. That sounds great.
Start rolling.
Start rolling. Give me the money. Cut the check. It's certainly not a tax write-off at all. God damn it.
I'm just fucking horror movies in general. Like I love them, man. Even these bad ones, I guess the bad ones. It's just they've all got their charm to it, man.
Yeah. There's this one called Zombievers. Have you heard of it?
I have.
It's-
But only for one scene.
It's not that great because it's like a mainstream film trying to be that underground B film. You know what I mean?
Wait, it's mainstream?
I mean,
I would have thought it was the other way around.
well,
That's
I guess mainstream's the wrong word. It's a movie with a budget.
why. Okay.
Where they're trying to be a movie without a budget.
Yeah.
And it's a little obnoxious because the movies that work, the movies that you're talking about, the ones that work really well are working because they have A, no money, and B, they're taking themselves way too seriously, which is why it's funny, Whereas this is a horror comedy, but it's just, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with this movie's budget, but one of the prime examples that I think of when I think of like, it's kind of small scale. They didn't go way too big with it. They kind of, in my opinion, they kept it relatively small, and it's a classic little horror movie, especially because like plot, character wise, they don't dwell too much into it. I think the movie's only like an hour or something long. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know the budget for that,
Yeah.
but to me that looks like an example of what a B movie could be. Like small scale, but done so well in
Yeah.
acting and just taking themselves seriously, but not too seriously.
Yeah, yeah, and it's become one of the most popular cult
My
classics.
favorite fucking horror movie, dude. Like,
Yeah. Well, the fact-
Horror Nights.
yeah.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
I mean, it's part of Horror Nights now. It's considered a horror film, not a horror comedy,
Not a horror
cult,
spoof or something.
or
Yeah,
horror
yeah.
spoof or anything. It's something that surpassed that line of like, yeah, it's not the best. It doesn't have the biggest budget, but hey, it's a part of horror iconography,
Hell
you
yeah.
know. And clowns are already pretty fucking ridiculous and it can be scary.
Have you always been into like horror movies or something? Because I mean, I was watching. The reason why I think I enjoy them so much is my mom put them on like since I was 4. My first fear was Chucky.
Yeah, it's the same. That's
Really?
yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Bonding over trauma. Hell yeah. I mean, my name's Andrew, so like everybody in my family called me Andy. So, dude, I remember when I was little, my older brothers, right, the cool kids,
Yeah.
they would be upstairs, and for how they would make sure that I wouldn't go bug them, you know, because I'm a little kid. I want to go hang out with the cool kids, right? Since we had a staircase that went up and then right, when I went up and turned the right, do you know what they put on
What?
top of the stairs?
The
The
what?
cassette for Child's Play.
Oh,
The little
man.
fucking Chucky doll
Yeah.
just staring at me. So I'm a little kid just looking up, and I just like scared as I go running back downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was it for me as well. Traumatic.
I can say that was like my first fear though.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so
horror.
why was it scary for you?
You know,
Like,
well,
did you watch it or did you just know about
I
it?
watched clips of it, and you know, especially as the sequels went on, it became
Way
more
more
insane.
intense, yeah.
and there were more dolls added to it. I think the problem is the problem for a little kid, and the reason a little kid would be scared is because it's an ugly as fuck doll. I mean, already, and
Yeah.
then to add scarring on it and everything, and
Uh-huh.
he's aggressive. You know, I didn't catch the jokes. I just saw a fucking angry ass little man
Yeah.
doll thing.
Oh god! In the third
Killing
movie, when the
people.
effects get he's fucking running around all over the place, it's terrifying.
It is terrifying, but that for me was the reason why even the image was too much for me to handle.
Literally, same man.
Yeah, as time went on, I can watch it. I'm like, you know, this is ridiculous, and I'm a fan of the guy who plays him,
Brad Dourif?
Brad Dourif, yeah,
Mhm.
who is
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
as Grimo Wormtail.
Little worm.
Yeah, and he's a great actor.
Hated that fucking.
I
I didn't know that he killed what's his face.
Saruman.
Saruman.
Yeah.
I had when you had told me about that. When I went home, I saw the clip.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why did they take this out? Like,
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, and there's a behind the scenes of it where they're on the set and they're talking about, you know, the scene and you know, Grimma's gonna kill Saruman, and after one of the takes, Brad Dourif comes up to the camera, the behind the scenes camera, and he's like, "You should see me with a .35 Magnum. I'm awesome with it." And then it's actually really cool because Christopher Lee, the past knight, he fought in World War II. So he was a British intelligence agent, I believe. So he would go into battle and everything. He's part of the basis for James Bond, actually, because he was related to, I think he was like the brother-in-law to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of James Bond originally. But they were on set for the Return of the King in that scene where he gets stabbed in the back. Peter Jackson says, "Hey man, when you get stabbed in the back, I want you to yell like, 'Oh, I'm getting stabbed in the back.'" And then Christopher Lee's like, "Now you see, that's not the sound someone makes when they're stabbed in the back.
Oh, shit.
It's more of a gasp."
Yeah.
You know, so you get the air just taken out of you when you're stabbed in the back. And then Jackson's just like, "How do you know that?" You know what? I'll just take your word for it.
Yeah.
You do it the way you want to
And
do it.
I saw that gasp in that little, clip that they did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, it's behind the scenes to the film.
I was wondering because, like, with that film, I expected it to be more dramatic, right?
Yeah.
Like, I did expect Peter Jackson to kind of have that direction with it, but when he did that gasp, it did stand out to me. I'm glad to know it was because it was a more realistic interpretation.
Yeah,
Like,
and he would know. So
yeah.
Christopher Lee's just like, dude, I will kill you, Peter Jackson. You will not exist after this film if you don't let me
for what he
gasp.
did to... Wait, Was it? No, I don't think it was.
What?
For Percy Jackson? Nah,
No.
Who directed Percy Jackson?
I don't know.
Because I know somebody did, and they did a terrible damn job of
No, man, that would be so disappointing if he went to from Lord of the Rings to Percy Jackson. Peter Jackson directs Percy Jackson. The Jackson, starring Michael Jackson.
Just CGI render.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I remember we'd go to the barcade and they have the Moonwalker game.
Oh,
you know,
I didn't play it, but when I took my cousin there because I'm like, hey, there's this cool little barcade place. He saw that and he went crazy about it. He just started playing that thing for the next hour.
Well, it was great. Here, let me play.
Did you play it? You played the Michael Jackson thing?
Yeah, I played it. And I was doing Michael's voice while playing it. It was great, you know, like because it's like the X-Men arcade game, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game, where it's it's not a platformer, but it's where you know it's 2-dimensional. You're walking across the screen through the cities and everything.
Right?
Side scroller. That's the term. And you're Michael Jackson fighting all these people from the movie Moonwalker, like these trash cans, your killer trash cans, businessmen, and your fighting moves are dance moves. So you do the tip that he does, the little tipsy and Smooth Criminal, and then you do the little kick joint and everything, the scream as a power up, and I'm going around doing the Michael Jackson voice, like I'm walking around like, look at the little trash can.
Oh my god, I gotta try that game, dude.
you gotta do it with the Michael Jackson voice add-on pack,
I don't know if I can. You gotta soften it, huh?
Exactly, and the sad thing is. We all have our opinions on Michael Jackson, especially, with the controversies regarding his life. People believe it, people don't believe it, but...
Where do you stand on the Michael Jackson?
Well, here's the thing about this game. It didn't age well, because part of what you locate in the game and collect are children.
Oh my God, no.
You collect children as Michael Jackson on this side-scroller game. So I have no choice but, while doing the voice of Michael, to say... Come here, little boy. I saved you. And the kids just disappear. He opens his jacket and they just disappear. And say, I got a little spot for you right here under my watches. Next to my giving tree. Or whatever it was from South Park.
Yeah.
Is that
make believe thing that they had? They had like an imagination land.
Yeah, he had Neverland. God.
Yeah.
He had Neverland in his backyard. He's like, no, my name's not Michael Jackson.
You're ignorant. Stop being ignorant.
You're ignorant. Oh, next time I go to Barcade, which I think might be on Sunday with Jacob, I'll be playing that game.
Oh, God.
And doing
Michael
Jackson voice. But I'm going to include every time an enemy comes in, I'm going to pretend it's CPS, Child Protective Services. And every time the villain comes up, I'm going to be like, stop being ignorant. Stop ignorant. That's going to be great.
Do you think that's the only Michael Jackson game out there? Officially licensed Michael Jackson game out
That's a good question. There must have been a lot. He wanted to do more films in his early days. He wanted to play Spider-Man.
I heard about that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what that would have been like.
Spider-Man Noir.
Spider-Man Noir. Well, I mean, he would have... I mean, if he was Spider-Man Noir... He would have gotten to a point of just being white Spider-Man, he did that transformation himself. And yeah, I really wonder what that would have been like, Michael Jackson as Spider-Man.
Some of these actors and the roles that they, I guess, wanted they're really out of left field, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's not that they're reaching one that always wasn't I don't want to say an odd choice, but just another choice that I hadn't think about was the whole Loki and Thor thing.
Oh,
when
yeah.
He auditioned for Thor. I was like, it's not that it's a bad choice. I just really didn't see him, playing it. But I've seen the audition tapes, and I'm like, well, he could if he really wanted to,
Yeah.
But just some of these things are just crazy.
He had a really good build, Tom Hiddleston, when he auditioned to play
role,
Thor.
right?
Yeah, he bulked up and everything. It's just something about his face You know, his face didn't work for that.
Well, I think it's because he's kind of got the narrow, slim,
Yeah.
lean figure, you
Yeah.
know. And when you think of Thor, you know, I think
Bulky, yeah.
You want everything defined and stuff. So.
And Hemsworth looks like a lion almost. You know what I mean with his face. He's got that kind of like those eyes, those piercing eyes, the jaw.
Like, yeah.
I mean, Jesus, that jaw you can cut bread with and shit. You know,
Yeah.
and I mean that worked out for the best.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think. But sometimes where there's castings and they're really good, like. It takes me out of the movie for a second because it's so good. A good example is in the Tim Burton film Ed Wood. Have you ever seen that?
Ed Wood, not. It's on my list.
It's really good, and it's about the filmmaker Ed Wood. And there's a scene. It stars Johnny Depp as Ed Wood.
Of course.
And there's a scene where he's down on his luck because he's a really bad director of film, you know, and he's having troubles with the studio that he's working with for Plan 9 on outer space, outer space. And he goes to this bar in the studio a lot, and he meets with, what the hell is the director's name? I feel like oh my God, I should know this. He directed Citizen Kane. You know what?
Feel free.
I'm looking it up.
Actually, could I get some water? Real quick
Yeah,
while you
here,
look
let
that
me
up?
pause it. While I look this up, and Andrew gets his water. Yeah, I'll take some. Thank you. He is going to get us some refreshments. I'm going to look up the information, and we'll be right back with more information regarding Ed Wood.
Yeah, I mean, some people literally trained for this, you know?
But it was Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
Yes. God, how do I forget Orson Welles? But Orson Welles makes an appearance in the film. Not the actual Orson Welles. Played by Vincent D'Onofrio. From Daredevil fame, Law and Order, Full Metal Jacket, and it was so perfect. You know, that casting is so perfect.
So well.
Yeah, he looks just like him, and the voice was just like him, and everything. And took me out of. I was like, is that Orson Welles? Like, yeah, I love when that happens in films and shows and whatever. But nowadays, they don't really do that as much as they do the shows that can afford doing the de-aging in an actor. You know what I mean?
Like, you're saying they don't do that, or they do that?
They do that more than just getting a younger guy, you know. True. Like even Cobra Kai did it with for a quick second with Johnny Lawrence.
Dude, when I saw that scene,
it was too much. It was too much. I mean, the infamous, or I guess famous now, Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian and Boba Fett, which they fixed. It's crazy. Like, what do you think about that? Is there
like de-aging in film?
Yeah, like especially when it comes to people who are dead or on their way out and everything. And where's the ethical standing?
I think that would be another case in of itself, because de-aging, I think that wouldn't be bringing somebody back, because that's just CGI.
Yeah.
De-aging, what I have in mind is, you know, just getting rid of some wrinkles, making things more clear, or just, you know, really making them look younger.
Yeah.
That, if it's the actor playing himself, and if it's not too, like, obvious that they're being, like, it looks like plastic surgery,
yeah.
You know? At that point, it just looks disrespectful to the person, you know? Like, de-age them with class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion with it. I don't really have a problem with de-aging if the actor's actually there. But if an actor has passed, it would, I don't know. I could see why it could be problematic. I would just say it depends on how it's done. I mean, look what they did with Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi. They didn't bring him back. They used his old clips.
Yeah.
Even when they showed us, like, or when they, with an example with his wife, right? The wife never talked to him. But I thought that was really cool, that the writer still kind of wrote something that felt like it was from him.
Yeah.
Without having to include him. It just felt like it was from him. I'm like, that's a good way of putting that. You don't have to bring him in there. You can just, you know, write it the same way.
Yeah. Did you ever see the last Ghostbusters film? It was called Afterlife with Paul Rudd.
No,
yeah,
I didn't. I wanted to though.
Okay, all right. Well, then I won't spoil anything. But they do something similar to this, where they bring someone back and in CG form, and it looked pretty good.
You see,
but the person is dead now. You know.
Wait, was it like actually the person though, or was it because, you know, Ghostbusters, was it a ghost?
It was a ghost.
Okay. Well, you see, in that case, that's different, you know, because they're a ghost. That's why I say it depends on case by case basis. You know, if it's a ghost, it literally goes with the, you know, the theme. You know? But if it's a fucking just random movie and the character passed and you want to bring him back, then I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What about you? How do you feel about it?
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you in the how it's done versus how and why it's done. You know,
True.
in terms of the film's context. Because I thought in Ghostbusters, this last one, I thought the reasoning behind it was more pure than cynical. You know, I appreciated it, actually, them doing what they did. I was worried about them bringing back this specific character because the actor is dead, and that actor was a very big part of Ghostbusters inherently. So it was cool, and it was actually fulfilling. A lot of people who saw that film really loved that part because it was emotional. It was pure, you know, as opposed to what it could have been, right? For me, the biggest example of where it didn't work was probably Rogue One.
I was about to say, yeah, that's
You know?
everybody's kind of like, why did you have to, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they did have to. I think they just wanted to show off the technology.
They did,
but
honestly.
the technology wasn't there yet. You know, like it's there with the Mandalorian, with Luke, you know?
Yeah.
And that's probably because Mark Hamill is actually alive and they can use him as
That's
reference.
an actor that, exactly,
Yeah.
that can help, right? That's why I would say it's a different thing when somebody's already passed, you know?
Yeah.
I was going to say something. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Continue.
Well,
I'll bring it
I
back.
heard a rumor
Uh-huh.
that in the Flash film coming up, if it ever comes out,
What?
they would bring in a CGI Christopher Reeve
Oh, I thought you were
Superman.
going to say Ezra Miller because they couldn't fucking find his ass or something.
Yeah.
Gonna CGI Ezra
They
Miller.
should. They should do that. CGM dying. And then that solves, you know, oh, well, okay, now we just get another Flash.
So they're gonna CGI Christopher Reeve.
That's a rumor I've heard, that a CGI Christopher Reeve of Superman will show
Well, I
up.
mean, context aside, what would you prefer? CGI, completely fabricated, or an actor that closely resembles that person?
So like a Brandon Routh situation, because I think that was the idea of Superman Returns, is that it is that version of Superman.
Right. I mean, I think there is still some differences, though.
Oh,
But
there
I mean,
are.
like,
There are.
I mean, like, evidently clear that you looked for a double. You know, like this person.
Oh,
like,
someone who looks
slight
just
difference.
like
Yeah, that's
Christopher
what I mean.
Reeve.
Would you prefer that over CGI?
Probably. It
Because
depends.
I'm
It
thinking
depends.
about a movie that they kind of did something like that, and it threw me for a loop. But you know, I'm honestly to this day, I'm still not sure how I feel about it.
You know, there's a great example of what you're talking about in Doctor Who, because in Doctor Who they've started back in the '60s doing that show,
Right.
and
There's so many doctors.
oh my God, so many, and so many that have passed at this point.
Mhm.
And they wanted to bring those versions of the character back, so they would recast. You know, they would recast the first one. You know, the first Doctor, William Hurt, who passed away in a really sad way. Actually, they've recasted him numerous times through the decades because they want to involve that actor in the show, in the stories. And I feel like in those cases, you have to, if it is pertinent to bring in that character, it's probably better to recast. You know, it takes me out for a quick second, but Doctor Who, at least, does a good job of paying serious respect and homage to William Hurt, at least, you know, the original actor to have played the first
It's not
Doctor.
egregious, right? It's
No,
respectful.
no, they especially the last time they
Right.
used his version of the Doctor, they made a point to show that transition from William Hurt, and then they they reshot the footage of a certain episode from back in the '60s, and they melded it. Like, it started with William Hurt, and then it went to I think his name's William Bradley, the actor who played Filch in Harry Potter, the caretaker, is that actor. Or David Bradley. David Bradley's the name. And he played the first Doctor in a recent episode, like a couple years ago. And they recreated the shots, like the original shots of everything, and had him in costume, and had him speaking the same lines, and they morphed William Hurt into David Bradley.
Okay.
And that was their way of kind of like,
See,
you know what I mean?
That I don't mind at all. See, what I had in mind was, did you ever see the film Yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, with the Beatles film, right?
When they brought back John?
You know,
that was something that they could have gone with Paul, they could have gone with somebody that was alive, but they chose somebody that had passed, but obviously it wasn't CGI either, it was a different actor.
It was different, it was an actor,
But, you know, somebody that really closely resembled to him.
Yeah,
Myself and the people, you know, older people that were there watching the film, I couldn't help but think, like, some of these people are like, is that him? Because it looked like, it was surreal, because we all knew he had passed, but just
It looked,
seeing him,
yeah, it looked
like,
just
this
like
is
him.
Yeah, like, so like that's the case where, you know, they casted somebody, right? But they did it for a different reason. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, let's get somebody who nobody would expect. They did it for a reason in that movie, you know.
Yeah.
To kind of get over that issue that the character was having. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
Yeah, me neither.
But I thought that scene particularly was done really well.
That was a really good scene, and that is an instance that I think there was a lot of courage in approaching that
there was a lot
concept.
of criticism, right?
Yeah,
and it did come from a lot of fans. Of why would you bring him back? You know?
Yeah.
But
I thought it was sweet.
Balls. It does take courage.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it just to make money. Like,
yeah,
oh, you don't know who's going to be in this. They didn't mention it at all.
No,
like, nobody knew about it. And it was because it wasn't just for like a cash grab. It was for that moment, you know.
In my screening, there was barely anyone there, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, man. I really dug that scene, and I think that's a good example of them kind of paying that kind of homage. If they bring back Christopher Reeve as Superman, if they have a CG Christopher Reeve, I think the only way in the Flash, I think the only way it would work is if it looks really, really good. Like, it can't look like, you know, how Luke looked when he showed up in Mandalorian. You know what I mean? It has to look how Luke looked in Boba Fett. It has to look like that, you know, whether that be deepfake technology or whatever. If they're bringing him back, especially with the death and just the tragedy of Christopher Reeve later in his life, it's got to look really good and pristine. You know, it can't be just for bullshit reasons. That's A, and B, it has to be for purpose. You know, it has to be like, I think that John Lennon scene is actually a really great example of them using it for that character's journey, the main character's journey, and having a good lesson in there, you know? And
that's exactly why I was thinking about that scene.
Yeah.
I haven't thought of that movie in years, by the way. But the way that you were talking about, you know, bringing the different actors and stuff, that was one of the first things that come to me.
Yeah, and I like the line he says of like, oh my God, you made it to this age, because you know, we know what happened in real life and everything, and it's tragic, and man, it really is a moral quandary, with
Honestly,
bringing these
though,
people back.
That film itself, it kind of just like, it was fun to see some ideas that I had been dwelling on since I was a kid come to life. The idea of a band not existing but you remembering it. I mean, who hasn't thought about that,
Yeah,
right?
Especially if you grow up playing music.
You're singing some like
Yep.
fucking cool band, and you're like, what if they didn't exist? What if I made this?
Yeah.
Right? And I was famous. Right?
Yeah.
And in the movie it happened. It was like, this, from my knowledge, this is one of the only movies to do that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like everybody has thought about that though, and they're one of the first people to do it, and it's about the biggest band.
Yep.
So it was so cool.
Did you grow up listening to a lot of Beatles music?
Yeah, mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, they were way big fans. And then in middle school, funny enough, I had a teacher that would play the Beatles all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is a question I've been asked a lot, especially with my history of Beatles music and everything, which I've never had an answer to. You know, I've never had an answer to this question. It's actually two questions.
Okay.
It's favorite song and favorite album.
Favorite song and favorite album. Now, are you asking me this?
Yeah,
Or are you
yeah.
asking
No, I'm
yourself?
asking you.
You know how to. Okay, well, as a casual Beatles fan, not a diehard, right? I mean, I've been listening since I was a kid. I understand some of the things that, like, some of the things that they did, some things that fans don't agree with, and other stuff, and the whole conspiracy theories and all.
Oh,
the Beatles
my God,
has a story of itself.
Yes.
Favorite song would have to be. Okay. Full disclosure, it kind of has. No, I don't think it has to do with it, but. Okay, so my favorite song is "I Me Mine." I think it's Paul McCartney, but yeah.
Oh, I think is it, or is it George Harrison?
No, it might be George actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's George. That one is my favorite though. Just like, you know, the melody of it, the whole vibe of it. It's out of all the Beatles anthology, like that one's really my go-to, and especially the memories that are entwined. Not to make it about an ex, because it was happening during the time that I was with my ex. But that was just generally a good time in my life. And from all the Beatles, I mean, since I had been listening to them since I was younger, this was a song that my ex had introduced me to, and I was like, "What? I've been listening to you guys forever, and I've never heard this song." And we were all having a good time with me, her, and some other friends, and it just it just really meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I Mean Mine, and then for the album, oh man, honestly, it might sound cliche, but it'd have to be Abbey Road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, what was it? The one with the apple? I forgot the name of it.
One with the apple.
The green apple, the black.
Oh
one,
yeah. That's you mean the CD, right? The CD had the
yeah.
apple. That's that is Abbey Road.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's either Abbey Road or the White Album. You know what? I think it might be the White Album actually.
I would trust your Beatles knowledge
Yeah.
over mine.
Because I own the White Album.
Oh, you do?
On the CD, and
okay.
I believe it is Green Apple.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah.
Well, I mean, it was either between those, but if they're the same thing, hey,
Yeah.
it's all better for me.
They might all have the apple on it.
Yeah, it would be those two though. I mean, a close to the top though would have to be Revolution. I've always
Oh, yeah.
with Revolution.
Yeah.
That one's just it does something to me. You know?
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles songs, yeah, they make me want to dance and have fun, but Revolution, oof,
Yeah.
that was good. That was top tier for me. What about you?
Oh man, again, shit.
Okay, since you've been having such a hard time,
It's time
what
to
about, like, top
cement
five?
it. It's
Top
time to
five.
cement it. We have a podcast now. It's time to make this shit official. I don't know, man. I mean, all I know is that with the Beatles, because there's so many genres for one band to tackle, you know, and they almost like created some genres, you know, because their music is so indistinguishable and very, like, you hear it and it's all you don't think of rock, you don't think of pop or anything country, you think Beatles.
I honestly think of 4 talented people making their own music together.
Yeah.
Like, it's never like one Beatles song is just Paul or just George or
Yeah.
just John. No, they're all into it, into their instruments, into their own thing, and just coming together, just make a beautiful song. Like,
Yep.
oh, God, it's
one
amazing.
that I love, one song that I love of theirs is Here, There, and Everywhere. I love that. That song is, oh my God, it's too much. It's beautiful. It really is. And there are some songs that I wish were on their albums that would later become part of their albums after they split.
Right.
Like All Things Must Pass, George Harrison. He was pitching for that for I think Get Back. He was trying to get that on the Let It Be album.
Ooh,
But yeah, I mean, and that would have been fantastic, but that didn't make the cut, unfortunately.
well, I mean, to have such an amount of songs, though, just by one band is like,
Yeah.
wow. Because I can honestly say I don't think I've listened to every single one of their songs. There are
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah, it's a whole
that aren't on
catalog.
albums that are just singles, right? There's just so many, and I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
You guys really loved what you did to make that amount of songs, you know? Like, true talent, man.
Do you know what chapter this is?
The podcast?
Yeah.
9, right?
Number 9. Number 9.
Numero nueve.
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Are you broken?
Number
What's
9.
happening?
Beatles fans will get it.
Ah.
You know what I'm talking about, Andrew.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
You know, man. You're just like
Bro,
look at me like, what?
Did you ever listen to some of the Beatles songs backwards, like the conspiracy theories tell you to?
That's how they tell me to.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember talking to Lynn about how her mom didn't want her to listen to a lot of that music because if you played it backwards, get satanic messages and everything. I have listened to some of the music backwards, reverse tracks, and I don't hear anything, you know?
Like, I hear the words that people are pointing out, but it's like, it's a stretch. Like,
It is a stretch, man. Especially when it came to those conspiracies you brought up, like with Paul McCartney being dead, the doppelganger. Like, I don't care about any of that shit. It's like when people make conspiracy videos about Howard Stern and his hair, if it's real or not.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing, yeah.
Oh my God, people are gonna make videos about anything.
Yeah, dude, like they literally...
Is Julius real? Is this an AI podcast?
There's literally a subculture of Howard Stern fans that call him Wiggy, you know?
I just think it's a wig, like
Yeah,
or something.
they literally, it's hair plugs and wigs and shit. It's like, I don't care, dude. What does this have to do with anything, man? Why are you dedicated to this, you know?
Are you a fan? You're a fan of Howard Stern?
I used to listen to Howard Stern a lot during high school and middle school. Jacob and I would listen to him together, and it's ridiculous, dude. Like, and I've been listening to actually some of the old stuff recently while playing, video games or something. Like
motivation for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, let me get through this shit by listening to, prank calls with fart noises and everything. It's great. Eric the Midget complaining about his plane ticket and meal not being covered. Yeah, no, I listen to. I guess I'm a fan of old Howard Stern. Nowadays, it's just like, I don't give a shit anymore. And I used to think, would I ever want to work at this place on the Howard Stern show? And then my answer is, I'm sorry. I'm doing podcasts and everything. I mean...
Oh, yeah, that's what he does, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he does radio, but podcasts, the new radio, which he'll deny. And I guess there are... If I look at myself, there are some similarities and maybe some inspirations to Stern and all that in terms of how I conduct myself on a mic. But I would never want to work on that show, dude, especially with all the bullshit and drama that comes from it. I mean...
Well, I honestly don't know too much about his show. I know about the man.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I know the controversies that follow him.
The interviews, and you listen to some of those?
I've listened to some of them, not completely, not the interviews for the entirety, just some clips and stuff. It's just, there's a few clips that I had seen where he had been interviewing some lady, and I just really didn't appreciate what he said to her.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was just... I can tell that's kind of just who he is. He's very demanding person.
Sure,
yeah. And that's his humor, his personality, right?
Yeah.
It's just I didn't appreciate that conversation, so I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this guy. He kind of seems like a sleazeball. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't have too much experience with him, especially past Stern. I'm sure past Stern was something else.
Oh, my God. It's insane. I just listened to the fights, the on-air fights, which are hilarious and great. And I'm just like, man, this is insane. It's chaos. It's fantastic. But it would not survive the zeitgeist, as it were, today,
Well, does he post, like, on his own website?
Well, he's on Sirius.
Oh,
Sirius,
okay. FM, right?
Sirius XM.
Oh, XM. Okay.
Yeah, I believe the radio station.
Yeah.
And I think he does have a website, and he posts some stuff on YouTube. Even though
I mean, some of his stuff is pretty explicit, so I was wondering, like, where does he post this? You can't post this everywhere.
Well, honestly, there are some, because he has, like, anyone and everyone on his show, or had, I guess, especially in the earlier days. And he would legit have, like, porn stars on, and some of those interviews and segments are, like, on porn sites, because they are so explicit, like they have a Sibian in their studio and everything. Like, they go for it on the Howard Stern and everything, and it's great radio.
Yeah,
it's a show.
True. It's got everybody listening. Right?
Where else are you gonna hear that type of shit? I like it, but I can't listen to too much during a certain period because it's just very. It does breed, I feel, some toxicity, and
there's a fine line you should walk when you watch stuff like that, even when it comes to, like, Andrew Tate or shit, or Shapiro, shit like that,
brother,
like,
brother.
I always think people, well, I can't speak for people themselves, but I don't enjoy this, but the reason why I watch some of these videos is just to get perspective on what the other side is thinking, feeling, and how they see things, right?
Yeah.
But I think sometimes people get lost in that. You're like, what's this idiot saying? So you're hearing him, right? But then you keep hearing him, and you keep listening, and even though you're, like, kind of messing around, you're like, yeah, fuck women, because Andrew Tate says it, right? But you're saying it as a joke. But you're saying it over and over that eventually you're kind of,
You become me.
Yeah, no. But, there's a fine line that you should walk, because I feel like it's just with positive, influences, the more that you're around that thing, it does affect you.
Yeah, man. Some of the shit I see today, and like with Andrew Tate, especially when they're short excerpts of what he says, and I see the comments, like, just listening to this little piece of what he's saying, and I see the comment, like, the first one is, my bald man is spitting facts.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on, man. What is happening right now? You know, and that can be said also for Howard Stern, you know, and that whole show. Even though I find it to be entertaining, a lot of what I listen to, because it is insane. I go into it knowing it's insane.
Yeah.
And really just wild
Just
and out
for the
there.
entertainment value
Yeah.
over the informative value.
Yeah, and also the historical value.
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to a lot of the show that they had during 9/11. Their 9/11 broadcast is on YouTube.
Yeah.
All of it. And, you know, we just had that day, and I was listening to it. I actually bought a book recently, a graphic novel about what happened that day with the 4 planes. And I'm fascinated by the history of that day. And you just hear in that broadcast how things turn from a regular Stern show to something completely different, where it's fueled by the heartbreak and the anger, confusion of what happened, you know, and you get them in their rawest form at that point, where everything, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, it's fascinating.
I mean,
you know,
just because the guy himself might be a little problematic doesn't mean that that show doesn't have its moments. That itself would have been hard to capture anywhere else. So to find it there, that's a big blessing. You know, I'd watch that.
It really should be documented into an official registry, like the Library of Congress or something. You know, I think it is that.
Stern episode.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think we have the original Star Wars theatrical cut inducted in the National Library of Congress.
Really?
Library of National Congress or something like that. Yeah, it's inducted into our national history. You know, that day, 9/11 being one of the most game-changing world events of the last 100 years. This is a key, not the key component.
Actually, that's pretty accurate. 100 years.
Yeah. This is documentation.
There's so many things we do now every day that we don't even realize are because of that day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The whole online privacy thing.
Yep. The privacy, travel, the reason we go into wars now. I mean, got everyone worried and guarded regarding our government, which is fair. No, I'm sorry, I spit on you.
No, you spit on the mic.
I spit on the mic. Like, for example, I was with Justin and Jacob and Lynn at Justin's home.
Okay.
And we were there for a dinner, and his mom called. And it was on September 11th, this past September 11th. And they pulled up Hulu, and Justin saw on the front recommended page for Hulu was a documentary regarding 9/11. And he's like, what the fuck is this, man? Who asked for this?
Why is this on my front page?
Why is this my suggested, man? And then his mom called, and his mom, he tells his mom, Mama, you know what just came up? A 9/11 documentary. And then his mom's like, oh, see, what? Wait, you can watch that, but then I can tell you what really happened on that day. It's just like, this is how it's affected us, where we just don't, you know, fairly enough, don't trust anything at this point, you know? I don't trust shit.
No. I mean, that might just be our generation in general. I feel like everybody questions everything now because they can. You know, everybody's got the hardware, the knowledge. If you want to look up a video on how to look up or research anything, you can.
Yeah, we can. Do you think we should question every single thing?
You know, from our government?
Yeah, let's start with government.
With government. Okay. Well, our government specifically, America, I've never really... In comparison to other countries around the world, there's plenty that we are doing not wrong, but we could be doing better.
Right.
Right? So, I understand some of the reasons that we do things are for protection, right? It's to ensure peace. But with the whole Cobra Kai thing, right? When one person thinks that they're doing good, they're not really paying attention to everyone else who's seeing the bad in the good, you know?
Yeah.
And when people get too caught up in believing that they're doing the right thing, they're putting others down unknowingly. And I feel like our country has a long history of doing that. Whether or not they know it, because who's to say that they do actually know what they're doing?
Yeah.
It's fucked up. And, I mean, you should definitely not rebel against your country, right? But don't follow them to a T, man. I don't know. I'm always kind of a person like just go based on how your experiences are, because somebody can have a really good life here and really be grateful for everything that America offered to them. And if that's their experience, then okay, it's valid.
I mean, the way I look at it is that my world that I operate in, the world of school and work and friends and family, that's huge for me, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's so small, incredibly small. So if this incredibly small thing is big to me, how am I going to even comprehend the largeness of a country and how it operates, you know?
True.
And that's small compared to
The
world, and then that's small compared to the workings of the universe, you know what I mean? Like, and when you look at things that way, it starts to really simplify everything.
Why are we fighting?
Yeah, why are we making things so complex and complicated here, you know?
In my opinion, I feel people get lost in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
They forget to see that we're all just family and friends trying to get along. You know? Like, even the people that we call our enemies, they have their own family, they have their own friends. Like,
Yep. I was dealing with that yesterday, actually, because I had talked to an advisor at school, and we were talking about classes I was taking and how many I had to take, and whether the ones I was taking now were pertinent to my academic goals. Let's put it that way. And I was taking this science class, and I don't need to take it. I already fulfilled that science requirement at my time during my time at my other school.
Serving your time.
Yes, my time at San Quentin. I took it there, and I was kind of wasting my time and effort with this class, and it's already really complicated, and I'm already having stress.
That's not the withdrawal thing, is it?
It is the withdrawal thing. So, so there's the stress of withdrawing, which at my school you have to petition to withdraw, which I think is insane.
Bullshit.
You know, it's bullshit. You know, essentially.
Literally classes you're paying for.
Yeah, I have to petition, get the permission from the department chair and the professor themselves, and then submit it. So there's that. But there's also the how long I'm going to be there to fulfill my requirements for my BA. And I'm going to be there, it's estimated, if I go at the route that I'm going at still, probably an extra 2 years.
Okay.
And that weight, the weight of that, which is in the grand scheme of things not much, felt like a lot, like a house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because I'm part-time due to finances.
Right.
You know, so I can only take so many classes per semester. And I was just kind of freaking out regarding the weight.
Really?
Of this, and it's not a bad thing to be in school for any amount of time. No. It just, if someone like me gets impatient, especially when it comes to projects that I'm, invested in, and there's a whole responsibility of it all. That's what I'm saying. I have to try to simplify this of like each day. Each day is simple. Whereas each day is simple, 2 years is complicated, right? Have to try to figure that out.
Yeah. I mean, there's little that we can account for in such time, but how long have we been friends, man?
A while.
Almost a year now. And it
probably.
feels like I've known you for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, time goes by really fast.
That's
man.
true. Yeah.
Especially when you enjoy yourself. So all I can say is just try to enjoy yourself these next 2 years.
It's nothing to be. It's nothing to lose too much shit over.
Yeah. But it's a shock, I would imagine.
It is a shock, because I was hoping to be graduated by next year, by next spring, but that's just not. It's just not happening, and
Yeah, some of us have to take the longer route to get there, but we will get there, man.
That's true. I mean, that's true, and it's a BA for something I love, film.
Exactly.
So
it's not something that you're just gonna have backup in your mind.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm gonna finish this school just because I'm one semester away, but like I don't even know if I'm gonna use it for my career. So.
Yeah.
At least that's something that you're passionate about, man.
That's true.
It's good.
That's
Sorry
true.
to hear that the wait's gonna be longer than you expected, but
yeah,
I'm sure for you, you can make it work, man.
I think it was exciting when I was younger. You know that feeling of like college when you're in college, but you're like in your early 20s, and it feels like a summer camp or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's school, but not really school.
Yeah, like you're. I think what it is, it's that you're creeping into independence, really, staying out longer than you're used to, buying yourself a lunch at different places off campus, meet new people, which can still happen, but I'm older than I was when I started college,
Dude, you know how I said yesterday, me and Leslie went to Cal State?
Yeah.
When I went there and I saw the freshmen for that year, I was like, everybody here looks so small.
Yeah.
And we're not old, dude. Like, what am I, 24?
Yeah.
Like, we're not old, but just...
feel old. Shit.
Yeah, no,
were they Laksa?
No, they were freshmen in college. Like, not even freshmen, too. They were probably, like, sophomores, but... You could just tell in their face. Like, I asked Lynn, I asked my sister, even my sister was younger than me. She was like, yeah, they look like babies. Like,
yeah.
Like, you could tell.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And, like, it's funny because I'm finally coming into this generational understanding of when an older person looks at a 30-year-old and they're like, you're still young, you're just a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you say, there's 30, But me now, and, like, a couple years ago when I was 20, and like I would still feel 18, but like now I feel my age. I feel 20, mid-20s, Like I feel older now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 18, when I was 20, I felt like, okay, I'm an adult now,
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I get it now. What every generation sees is like, oh, those are kids. Even though they're older, it's like, oh, they're kids. They're so young. They're so full of life.
Girls are also a part of that young feeling when you start meeting the women, especially when they're older. Oh, it's great.
Julius, is there something have you met an older lady, Julius?
No.
Not yet.
Right. I did. That's done, man. That's been done. I actually I talked to those fellas, Sebastian and Brian, about my escapades into Santa Clarita. Nice. So that's a whole journey. In terms of women, there was actually a really funny moment in that, which is ridiculous, because I open up on that podcast. I open up to like how I feel and the relationship and all that, and I start saying I have a type that I'm trying to move past and everything. I'm like saying all this really vulnerable stuff, and then Sebastian's just like,
what? Sebastian.
He was like, and I'm like, why are you smiling? And he's like, it looks like someone else is the Weezer fan. Oh, no. It's like, God damn it.
You exposed yourself in front of somebody who took advantage.
I know. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
Do you think you have a type, Julius?
You'll have to hear chapter 10 to find out what that type is, because there's a type.
Just as, I guess that does make sense, but like just knowing you, that you would have a type.
Oh yeah,
but also just knowing you, like I feel like you're very much the person to just give, not anybody, but open-minded,
Yeah.
That,
hey, you smelly bastard, get over here.
You'll do.
Yeah, you'll do.
No, but like that I feel like a woman wouldn't be confined to something for you. I feel like you could see the beauty in any woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would not expect you to have a type, honestly.
That's an interesting point.
I mean, that's something that I kind of tried to follow when I was younger, just because
types.
No,
or no
just
types.
Being open.
Just being open. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why I was kind of always in a relationship when I was going throughout school. People thought I was just like, this guy's always like liking girls and shit. It's like, nah. If they ask me out, like, why am I gonna say no?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. Let's get to know each other and
I legit thought this past week that I was asked out at work.
Really? Why? What happened?
I don't know what happened. I was talking to this person who I'd met at work, this girl who's really, nice and everything, but a little awkward. Okay. And into music. She's a musician, actually. And she came in and we talked a little bit. We were talking about her interests and told her about this place called Eaton Canyon. You know that place?
Yeah.
Over in Altadena, actually near where we were talking about earlier. Drew her a map, the waterfall and everything. She seemed into it. Asked me what I was doing later that night. I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to be working out and then nothing. What are you doing? She tells me that she's going to a jazz club. And
Ooh, cool.
And I was like, oh, cool, dude. Have you heard of this one in Chinatown? It's the one we went to for Crystal's birthday. Nice. I was like, hey, this is a really cool one.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I couldn't really hear her because at my work, the acoustics are a bit rounded. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to hear things. Because things start to echo.
You, but my audio goes this way.
You turn mono instead of stereo. It's really weird. But what happens is we're talking and she's like, well, if you want to go. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. But the problem with this is that I didn't get a clear-cut understanding because A, of the acoustics, and B, I was making someone's drink. So I was like trying to do the balancing act. So I did this thing where I was like, here, she asked me what the name of the place is. I'm like, I don't remember. I'll check my phone right after I finish her drink. But it seemed like this musician girl, was already on her way out the door. And I messaged her the name, and I didn't hear anything back. So I was just more confused than anything, you know? Because we were trying to plan when to go to this jazz thing. And she's like, okay, yeah, message me. Then nothing happened.
Man, at that point, you held up your end of the bargain, so I can see where the confusion would be. Like, that's not your fault.
No, I'm not blaming myself.
Oh, no, but like,
and I'm not blaming her. It's just
a
little confusing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Hey.
I mean, now that I blasted her on the podcast.
How do you like that?
Now you have no choice.
Oh man, there's this. Funny enough, there's this girl that she speaks differently. She has this different way of speaking. So sometimes I'm not sure as to whether her questions are leading questions, you know?
Oh,
because
okay.
in most cases, when you hear this kind of question, it's a leading question.
Right.
But since she speaks differently, I don't know whether to think this or not. But, like, for the last few days, she keeps asking me if I have a girlfriend. And, like, in, normal society, if you ask somebody that, it kind of implies that you're interested for a reason to know, like, if there's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
So I had told her no the first time, and she just laughed it off. She's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Oh God, I think she might try to ask me out or something." No offense to her, it's just
shit.
The
zoom, that Jaws shot of them dolling in and zooming out at the same time.
Dude, no, because like every time I go to work, it's she's like usually in the hallway where I have to go. We only have 2 restrooms, right? And they're down this very long hallway. And she's usually there when I have to go to the restroom.
In the hallway.
Yes. And, like, it's not that I don't want to conversate with her. It's just that she always asks if I have a girlfriend. And I'm like, why do you keep asking, dude? Like, I feel like I know why.
You know why, dude.
But come on, like, no.
Dude, I imagine this like in the Christmas Story when they come across that older kid and his little sidekick. It's like, hey kid, come here. That's what she's like to you. Come here, Andrew, come here.
Dude, no, do you know what she hit me with last time?
What?
Do you remember those big fools in middle school that would be like, where's my hug at?
Oh, yeah.
We have never hugged at all, but the other day I passed by her like, oh, hi, good evening, how are you doing? Where's my hug?
Where's my hug?
What? And I just kept walking.
Oh, you just kept...
Dude, I'm not...
You're like, oh, it's somewhere over there. Let me go find it for you.
I literally just said, what? And I just kept walking because she was laughing. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. But I don't know. I don't know what to... I don't know how to handle that work
You
situation.
need some Chad advice. You stuck with Sebastian.
No, because then they're going to be like, go for it. She's all right. But I'm like, no.
Oh, like Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, he would definitely be like, just do it.
Just do it, fool.
But I'm like, nah, I don't know. She's not my type. I'm not into that. Maybe I do have a type.
Yeah, there's the type. Well, you don't have a type now. I have a type, and you don't have a type.
You know, funny thing is, I actually think I developed one.
Oh,
so, like,
shit.
you know how I was telling you how, like, when I was younger, I was very open to that?
Yeah.
I think after the relationship, right?
Sure.
The relationship.
The one, yes.
After that, I did start developing the type just because it was nice. Like, that kind of person I very much wanted to have in my life and in my future.
Yeah.
I felt like if I was going to be with anybody, this would be the influence I would want on myself, on my friends, on my family, on my kids, on everybody, right? So I was really starting to develop feelings for this particular type. But then you kind of notice the flaws that comes with types, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You limit yourself to a box, or you perfect these... In your mind, you perfect these people because they fit that mold.
I was about to say.
And you don't pay attention to their flaws.
You idealize them.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah. And, like, and the thing about that particular type, right? Like, let's just say very compassionate, okay?
Right.
The thing about very compassionate people is that it's hard to tell when to take a step back for yourself. You know, when you're hanging out with somebody who's such a good person, you don't know when that is negatively affecting you.
Yeah.
Know? Like, somebody could be a good person, but if you are giving them all your attention and all your time, like, you're not really putting attention to yourself. And because they're not going to be the one to push you away, you know, you wouldn't know until you take that realization to yourself.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I really think you should, like, not have a type.
Yeah. It's difficult, man. I mean, one thing I brought up with those other fellas is that a lot of the quote-unquote types, if that's the word we want to use.
Goth, big titty goth. That's my cousin. My cousin is
What?
like, wow, I have several cousins.
But
you
want to rephrase that?
I have several cousins, but one of my cousins, he's been listening to, like, rap, modern rap, since he was a kid. He's been in sports and shit, and he tells me he wants a big titty goth. And I'm like,
okay, so your cousin's not the big titty goth girl.
No, my cousin is, no,
I was about to say, what, Andrew?
I'm the only goth in this family. Tits or no tits.
Keeping to yourself.
No, but, like, the guy has his type
that's
is
his
big
type.
titty goths, but I'm like, that doesn't make any sense though. Like, not that you can't get a girl like that, but, you know, like, interests, likes, there's gonna be a clash, because you can't just like somebody just because they look like that. Like, it's not gonna work out. Trust me.
No. Trust me, man. What I was telling them was that the types are informed by the past, of course, and for me at least, my quote unquote type was a response to what was missing from the past, you know, and. You know, I'm not going to get too heavily into it because I get into it in the next episode. But one thing I can say is that there's a lot of work in moving past that type, because a type can be limiting, you know, and you can feel like, I don't know if you have seen these truth or drink videos, right, on YouTube.
I've seen a few,
the game where you read a card.
We're gonna be playing that tonight.
Oh no, we're episode 18, my friend.
All right.
Episode 18, or no, it would be 21.
That's nice. I like that.
Right?
One.
Yeah, that makes 18 is Cards Against Humanity.
Oh jeez.
But
your discretion.
There's a video where they play Truth or Drink with exes, or it's either exes or people in dysfunctional relationships. Right. And there's this one couple that's sitting there. And it's like this really dysfunctional couple where they're blaming each other for cheat. It was people who've been cheated on. That's what it was. Okay. And the guy who cheated on this girl is saying, "You're the one who made me cheat, right? You're the one." And then the girl is asked, "Why are you still with him? If you acknowledge him as a cheater, it's clear you don't like him anymore, let alone love him."
Oh, so these were still couples? They weren't exes?
I think there were still couples. And she said that she knew that they'd make beautiful children together, and that her life is so miserable that she deserves the guy. You know what I mean? What? So I mean, that's part of that limitation. You know what I mean? She's limiting herself,
and you don't even realize.
And she's acknowledging it, but she's not taking any action upon it.
You can hear something, but doesn't mean you understand it.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. When I watched that, I was just like, Girl, what are you doing?
Are you hearing yourself?
Are you hearing yourself? You're not happy. This is insane.
That's tough to hear, but it's sadly in a lot of, like, relationships these days. Some people feel like there's no other choice, and that they just have to stick through it. And have to persevere, and props to you for that. But in my opinion, when it comes to that, because I'm very much somebody who wouldn't want to give up on love, especially, you know, if it's something worth fighting for, then keep fighting for it. But if it is hurting any one of you, at that point, it's not worth it.
Right.
If you truly care for somebody, wouldn't you prioritize their health over yourself?
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest decisions that, like, anybody has to make. But I think a really important decision that everyone should make at one point is choosing somebody else over that connection you have with that person, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you could love somebody, but if loving you is the problem, then learn to let go. Learning to let go is hard. One of the hardest things anybody has to do, man.
Well, I mean, now, like, a big part of it is in terms of people wanting to let go. A big thing now, and I guess it's always been around, but now because of the technology, it's a bit easier to do this. The whole idea of ghosting people, where you don't want to have that conversation or let them know, you know, or give yourself a choice. You just pressed shut off on the relationship.
Have you ever done that to somebody?
Have I?
Or
I
has
mean,
at
it's
least-
happened to me. It happened to me with a relationship, actually, which was the most...
Wait,
hard-
while you were in a relationship?
What? Yeah. Yeah.
What?
And it was crazy. It
Some
was
fucking
odd.
Bullshit, man.
But that relationship was already a fucking
Still, have the fucking
ridiculous thing.
decency to end it, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, no, it was wrong. Have I ever done that? I think the closest that I'd ever done it
Mm-hmm.
was to this girl who got the wrong idea from me and got with a friend of mine to make me jealous and was bragging about it.
What?
And she sent me this whole fucking thing
Uh-huh.
about, like, this whole message about why she did it and what happened. And then I just never responded. I didn't block her. I just never responded.
But at least that's kind of warranted, though. Like, when I think of ghosting, I'm thinking, like, they have no reason to. Or they're just avoiding.
Or they're just
a
done.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But, like, because if you are, it's, in my opinion, if you're done with somebody, you can tell them straight up, like, hey, we can't be talking anymore. Or, like, this isn't working. You know, like, that's the end.
Yeah.
If you were really done with that person. But if you're going to ghost somebody, then, you know, like, I feel like that comes off a little bit like you're not ending it properly. And that's only because I've done it to one person. Like, I'm okay. I don't like to burn my bridges with most of my exes, with old friends. Like, I don't like to hold on to anything because I feel like that limits your growth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if I had a bad falling out with somebody, whatever, that was in the past. We're new people. If we're not going to be a part of each other's lives, then why would we still be a problem to each other, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not one to burn bridges, but in the past, when I was in a relationship with a girlfriend, I had met this friend. It was a long-distance friendship. And we had been talking over a couple months, and we got pretty close. Like, she was cool because, you know, when you're in a relationship, out of respect, I didn't really befriend a lot of other women, you know.
Sure,
because,
yeah.
like, I can tell. I can
You want to be
sympathize.
cool.
Yeah, you know. But if I ever did, you know, I laid everything out on the table so that my partner can see. I'm not trying to hide anything. If there's anything you ever want to know, just ask me, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very straight up with things.
Yeah.
But so this friend had apparently developed feelings. Like, I had met this friend through another mutual friend, and that mutual friend had told me that she was starting to develop feelings. But, you know, I was in a relationship at the time, so I really didn't know how to go about it. I was close to asking my partner because I'm like, you know, partners should talk about things, which I do say, like, if you ever want to make your relationship work, always talk to your partner, you know?
Uh-huh.
But I still also think that there are some things that you shouldn't tell your partner. Not that you should keep them, not that you should keep it from them. You should tell them eventually, but get somebody else's perspective and then talk to about it. Because a lot of people say, like, oh, well, I could talk to my girlfriend about anything. Let me tell her about my exes. Let me tell her about everything I did. Like, do it smart.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that's not disrespectful to her, you know? Do it in a way that you're showing you're being vulnerable and not you're just trying to talk about these things.
Of
you know?
course.
So, I didn't want to talk to my girlfriend because she's very much like, cut them out of your life. She burns bridges. I did not.
Yeah.
So I had chosen to just ghost her. Like, I wasn't responding to her anymore, and she only messaged me a few times, like, asking, like, oh, hey, what's up? But I'm a very empathetic person, so it only lasted about 2 months before I started feeling guilty, you know, because she was a friend. I wasn't developing feelings for her, but she was still a friend. So I was like, you know what? I could have the decency to explain to her why I'm not as close to her anymore. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, like, this might be a little awkward, but how can it go wrong? Like, I'm apologizing for something that I did, right? I was owning up to something. But, I mean, what a lot of people don't tell you is that even when you own up to something, that doesn't mean that you're gonna have a good outcome. You know? People's reactions and emotions are still valid. So when I had told her, I had texted her out of nowhere what had happened, she was one of the only people to, like, keep me in check about that. She had told me, what you did was kind of fucked up. Like, yeah, I was developing feelings for you, but we could have talked about that. And that was just like a mind blow to me, because I was like, in my head, I was respecting my relationship and I was choosing to just get rid of a problem before it became a bigger problem. And I don't regret what I did necessarily, but I do think maybe I could have gone about it differently because of how she reacted to this information and how a simple ghosting turned into, like, apparently it really messed her up for the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of had a problem with abandonment, and I basically abandoned her. And
Yeah.
even though we were just friends, it still hurts, you know?
Yeah.
So that was, like, one of the only times that I ever ghosted somebody, but it was a lesson, you know? Now I'm, like, straight up about everything, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna impact whoever it is you're leaving behind,
Whatever,
no
the
matter
reason.
what.
Because
No
here
matter
I am
what.
thinking I had a good reason, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Despite the
It's
reason.
still pain.
Yeah. It's because you're just not trying to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, you're not trying to deal with the other person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that does something to someone's, you know, of course, their self-esteem and, you know, their worth, whether not the worth in terms of how other people
Their self-worth.
their self-worth. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's insane. It's something that our generation specifically needs to, I think, grow past, you know, have to get used to actually dealing with the problem
Right.
rather than
Just
swiping it. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a bit, especially with the culture of dating as it is now in terms of online dating, you know, apps.
I mean,
all
I can
the
say
shit.
with certainty when somebody, most of the time, when somebody ends a relationship, that's a block. That's an unfriend and a block, so
Right.
that they don't see each other on social media. That's just the norm in this generation.
Right.
But like, you guys should be grown up about it. Like, not only does it help foster whatever friendship you guys did have, because the way that I think about relationships is you guys aren't two strangers getting together. There was a friendship before that.
Yeah.
There could very much be a friendship after that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
a lot of people just choose to cut and that's
Yeah.
it. Get over it.
Well, have I done that? I mean, I've with this person who ended up ghosting me.
Uh-huh.
I did actually notice some red flags ahead of time from getting into a relationship with them.
Right.
And I said, hey, you know, let's not do that. Let's actually be just friends.
Uh-huh.
And the reaction I got was just really volatile and
They did not
insulting.
take it well, right?
They did not take it well.
That was pretty much the same reaction
You
I
know,
had.
and I was just like, I've never done this before. This isn't fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into a relationship with them. You know, it was a wild time. It was a wild time, man.
Was this like middle school, high school?
This was during 2019.
Oh,
So this was fairly recent. Yeah, college
Oh,
still.
man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. It's weird. Relationships are weird. Weird work.
Just don't ghost people, man.
Don't. Yeah, I
Unless they're being like a genuine threat, then yeah, fuck them. Take them to jail, please.
Goodbye. One thing I wanted to bring up before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
because we've been going on for 2 hours at this point.
What?
It's
I thought we were reaching
fantastic.
for 5, man. Let's go.
One thing I wanted to bring up was on the video discussion I did with my friend Jessica,
Okay.
chapter 8. We brought up fires and climate change and everything, and fires nearby, brush fires.
Mhm.
Apparently, the brush fires I was bringing up that were near here, near where Jacob lives, near the 110 entrance,
Yeah.
those are not due to climate change. Those are due to an honest-to-God arsonist. Someone
What?
who's been going around burning shit.
One individual?
Yeah, yeah.
What the fuck?
Because at my work, I met the firefighters who came in for their drinks, and I said, "Hey, man,
What's going on
what's
with all the
going
fires?
on with
Yeah.
all the fires, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening here?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a nut job out there setting the place on fire.
What
He's
the
got a beard, so just keep an eye out." I'm like, "Oh, okay," like crazy. And yeah, I asked if the cops had any leads or anything.
Right.
They don't. They have nothing other than the beard thing.
Some homeless guy.
It's
right.
just some guy setting shit on fire. It's insane.
What is your thinking process in that, man? Like,
I don't know.
oh, he's probably not thinking.
No, probably not. But it's one of those moments where you just like. I mean, it's a little relieving, honestly, because I thought it was due to climate change and due to temperatures rising. But no,
it's just some asshole
some
with
asshole.
a fucking lighter.
I don't know if that's any better, but it was just like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, you know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's not good, obviously.
Right.
It's man-made, but it was weird. It was almost like a little bit of a relief.
Because it's not climate change.
Because
Well,
it's not
I mean,
climate
that's-
change's actions.
the state of our world is a slow burn that it's like it is being damaged, but I mean, like, it's not going to be like one day the world's going to be on fire, you know. So
Yeah.
I can understand the concern and the relief that comes from finding out it's not that.
It's just
but
some
like,
guy.
it
some
it is
psycho.
still like, you know,
Yeah.
ongoing.
No, it's a bad situation, and yeah, I just wanted to put the closure on that.
On the fucking fires
on
of
on
South
Firefly.
Pass, man.
It's actually Brendan Fraser running around.
Dude, did you see the I was gonna say reception. I don't know if that's the right word. The film, The Whale.
I've heard about it.
Did you see the
Brendan
standing
Fraser?
ovation?
Yes,
that
he
got
was
from
he
that?
was
Oh
up
my
there
God,
standing.
dude, like,
Brendan Fraser had a standing ovation for his film The Whale, where he plays a 600-pound man, and I'm curious
I
about
think
it.
he's like rekindling his relationship with his daughter, right?
In the movie,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've not seen anything about the film.
We gotta watch that one. Man.
Yeah, there are
Are
a
you
lot
a
of
fan
films.
of Brendan Fraser?
Oh yeah, I miss Brendan Fraser. You know, like I like that he got kind of a second chance,
Resurgence.
resurgence.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. Resurgence with Doom Patrol as Robot Man. He was going to be in
That show,
Batgirl.
by the way, I gotta watch the entirety of that show. Every episode clip that I've seen, it's like it's gold, man.
Yeah.
I think not people like that.
And he's
Love
great in it as Robot Man. There's this great clip where they're waiting for the bus into that town, that odd little town in season 1. And they meet this guy who's like a tourist who's going into the town with them, waiting for the bus. And they're talking about some ordinary shit. And then the bus finally comes up, and Robot Man, played by Brendan Fraser, is just like, oh, thank fuck. Honestly, I love Brendan Fraser. George of the Jungle, my man, the Mummy.
Bedazzled for me, man. That guy was fucking funny.
Yeah, he was the one. He was the one for sure. But yeah, I think that's all we got in us, Andrew. It's been.
Says you. Let's go for another 3 hours now.
I would, but this coffee's catching up to me. I have a guitar lesson that I have to conduct in about 3 minutes.
Better get ready.
Yeah, he's got. He's probably here already. I don't know actually, but hey, Andrew, thank you so much for joining me, my friend. I'm glad
for having me.
Of course, I'm glad to have you on this podcast series. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to listen to this at work. I say that all the time, but I'm legitimately excited. It's just a chill podcast today,
Yeah.
you know, nothing with any sort of agenda. We're just talking.
I rarely hear myself backwards, so like, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this too. I've been listening to your podcast since episode 1, man.
I appreciate
I did not
that.
think I was going to be on this, but here we go. If you are listening now, he's coming for you. There's no one safe.
No one is safe. If you listen to this backwards, Andrew, you'll hear all sorts of messages.
Do an outro that's just backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
See.
Face it's no to gvaj, or nights of sailors, me and sailors, I'm a sing it, sag, air giving